The God of War Ragnarok release date is finally here, and it's a little strange, honestly. There were strange things that led to the announcement, some drama and some controversy within the community, as well as the developers and Cory Barlog having to kind of respond. And then there was just this weird way that they did it, and I want to talk about that. I also want to talk about how there's some clues in the collector's edition on the actual Mjolnir hammer, the hammer that Thor wields, I believe, adding some credence to some things that I've predicted and said that I think will happen. Now, if you like these videos, make sure and hit subscribe and the bell button. That way you don't miss them. They are live streams, so it's probably a pretty long video. I try to give you all the goods right here at the beginning. That way you don't have to go looking for it. This is a Reforge update. The God of War Ragnarok release date's finally here, along with various different versions of the game, a collector's edition, a hammer with some clues on it, and just some strangeness, in my opinion, with how it all played out. So if you didn't realize or didn't see it, they released a 30-second trailer called Father and Son that announced the release date of 11/9/22. I'm thrilled. November the 9th is my birth date, and I had continued to say this thing's landing early November. That was my prediction. Once it got kicked out of third quarter into fourth quarter, I thought that was the most sensible time. That means the press release versions of the game that the press will get will be in their hands probably the week prior, which will give it a plenty of time for beating it, reviewing it, and then that will obviously then help it with the Game Awards. I don't think that was their only consideration, but I do think Game Awards was something to consider. Now, the thing about November the 9th is it is a Wednesday, which I don't know if that's typical or something that they've done before. Maybe that day or that time is just something that they think is a better option. Maybe they're going to do some kind of day early access thing where you can play a day early on Tuesday, because usually release dates fall on Tuesdays and Fridays, not Wednesdays. I don't know if I've seen a Wednesday release date in recent months or years, and there was drama leading up to the announcement. There were leaks from notable leaker The Snitch that June 30th was going to be the date of the announcement. We were finally going to hear about it. We were finally going to know what was going on, and then June 30th came and went and nothing happened. And they kind of got out in front of it and said, listen, we're doing what we can. We'll say something when we can, which spurred everybody up and said that, hey, we're trying to make sure that everything is ready. And then people were saying, oh, it's getting delayed. And then Cory and others were saying it's not getting delayed, and industry insiders were saying it's not getting delayed. Then people started being nasty. Apparently there were people sending explicit images to people that worked on the game and harassing them on Twitter, which brought on calls for people to be like, hey, can you guys stop that? I generally think acknowledging that and asking people to stop is never the right approach, because that's kind of what they want. They want the reaction. They love the press headlines. They love that they've rattled your cage. So responding is just never the right course of action, but they did, and I think people have a right to stand up for themselves, but it probably poured a little bit of gas on that fire. Gamers tend to get antsy, and then there's the morons on the internet that take it so far as to threaten things, and sending explicit images will probably soon be something you can get in serious trouble for. You probably already can, depending on where you live. They also released a 7.5-minute long video about the collector's editions. There's the digital deluxe edition. You get a bunch of cosmetics. Then this collector's edition comes with a shrine. You can open it up. It's like the shrines that you find in God of War 2018, where, you know, Atreus goes on this sort of lore dump on you and, you know, mythology information for you, and you open up the shrine and there's stuff inside. Now, included in both the collector's edition and the Jotnar set is a replica of Mjolnir, the hammer that Thor wields. And on this hammer, there seem to be those rune spots that look very familiar. There are rune spots on the axe from God of War 2018, so you can customize it. This is adding to the speculation that we will get to wield Thor's hammer in the game. I've continued to say he's our Baldur. We're going to fight him right off rip. I actually think we're going to defeat him, maybe we don't kill him, but we'll defeat him and we'll be so damaged from the fight, they'll be able to do a time lapse where Atreus kind of cares for us. But that's maybe where we acquire that hammer. Maybe our axe gets sort of damaged and we have to start the game with Mjolnir. I don't know. But at one point in the game, I feel like we're going to be throwing that hammer around and getting to have its own skill tree. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure that bell button's pressed so you don't miss these live streams. I didn't record this because we already recorded one. So good afternoon, good morning, good evening. I know people were razzing me about the late start. We are still dealing with a heat wave in my state, and we're having to be very particular about how we use window units and keep doors open and keep ceiling fans going, because if we don't, our house will not be able to keep up with the heat wave. Like, I had a guy come and work on the outside unit, the big central air unit, and he's like, these things are just not meant to run like this. He's like, it doesn't matter how good they are. He was like, they're just not meant to run in upper 90s with 70% humidity. So yeah, thank you guys for renewing the memberships. Here comes the member train. Holy moly. We have lost a lot of members because the first week in June, you guys went crazy with gifteds. We're now 7 days into July, so you may lose your membership. If somebody gave you one, consider jumping back in. We are launching starting in July. Every day, we're going to be ending with the members, whether it's a segment, whether it's something that you guys want to do. It's going to be a blast. I think you guys are really, really going to like it. It's going to give me an opportunity to spend more time with members, play more games, do more segments. We're very excited. Let me thank everybody who's renewing. Danzatastic for 11 months, almost an entire year. 11 months for Minch Tree, and it's a Tier 2. Gang's doing a gaming Tier 2 as well. Welcome everybody back to Reforge Gaming. Holy moly, so many Tier 2s. 11 months from Silent Warrior. Tier 2s and above, keep your ears open. I've got announcements for you. There's a room in the Discord that you're going to want to use this week and the following weeks for Madam Crumpet Friday nights. Cat coming in with 17 months, and it is a G-Mini Christmas. The chat just moved on me. There it is. It's a Tier 4. Moved my Tier 2 over from radio, at least for now anyway. Welcome back. Thank you, Cat. 11 months from Arch Enigma, almost an entire year, and it's a gaming Tier 2. Welcome back, Lono. Hope you and the fam enjoyed vacation. And then Mike Crow coming in with a brand new membership. Thank you so much for jumping back in. Welcome to Reforge Gaming. Enjoy all that extra members content. 10 months from Skiffles, and it's a Tier 2. Welcome back, Lono, missing your content. Thank you, sir. J Murph jumping in fresh with a brand new membership here on gaming. Thank you. Julio for 8 months on the renewal. Raijin, and then Darth Nihilus jumping back in as a Tier 2. 13 months for my man Sven, and Striker1 already gifting memberships. Doom Reaper grabbed one. My man Feed grabbed one. Killshot, Classic Xander, and Simon. Guys, make sure and thank Striker1. That's super generous. We'll have more member goals this month. As long as we're over 1,000, Madam's on cam on Friday nights. 1,500 and 2,000 have their own respective goals. We'll talk about those shortly. 14 months from Sorcerer. That's a Tier 2. 11 months from my man Barrier. And dadgummit, the chat keeps moving because you guys are going crazy. 8 months from Adnor. Lee Stills with 4 months. Chris gifting 5 memberships. 9 Milli Productions, my brother Derek, Stormkiller, Jonismo, and Morrigan. All of you make sure and thank Chris for that kind gifted membership batch that he just did. 11 month renewal from English Oatcake. Hope you had a great break and are well rested. Thank you, sir. 11 months, and it's a Tier 2 from my man Chris, the dude that just gifted. Thank you, sir. Rissick with an 11 months says, welcome back. Thank you so much. And for doing a Tier 3, Rissick, very generous. 10 months from Egnarts. A brand new one from Terminal Stupidity. I love that name. A whole year from Ant. Glad to have my daily routine back. Thank you. 15 months from Baker. That's more than a year. That's a long time, Baker. Thank you for jumping back in. 10 months from my man Khalid. I don't care if the studio has to burn. I need my daily show. What's good, man? How are you? Good to see you. Mo, welcome back. Mother F, what a great day to come back to you, old man. Hey, Mo. I was so thrilled. I was like, it's a silver platter. They're like, welcome back. Welcome back to streaming. We got Ragnarok, and we got the Forspoken delay. Lono's batting average continues to go up with his predictions. You know I love you, Mo. 11 months from Murph Dog. 11 months from Basito. Get Goose hype for content after vacay. And a Ragnarok release date. Member Train hype. Thank you very much. And Stormkiller, thanks for the membership. We have the best community. Thank you for doing 4 months, Stormkiller. And then Reaper jumping in brand new. I love seeing all these brand new members. That's awesome. I wonder how many of you got gifted last month and you're deciding to jump back in. Danzatastic going big with a 10 gifted members. Rudy Diaz, Ronald, Mayday, Errol, Dr. Red, Big O, Justification, Thunderhawk, Crislow, and Cammy. Make sure and thank Danzatastic for the gifted members, and Lock Ray Down jumping in as a member. Brand new thank you. Pugs, good to see you in the chat. I hope you're well, my friend. I do. I haven't been able to catch up with you. Hope everything has continued to turn a good direction for you. Yeah, this is not a Spider-Man shirt. Sorry, that needs updated. 11 months from MJ, coming back with a fresh cut. Welcome back. Yeah, well, actually, no. My hair has not been freshly cut. My beard has been freshly groomed. I think I got this cut before I left. I don't frickin' know. It's kind of a mess right now, but it's fine. Thank you. Zephyroth jumping in with a brand new membership. Thank you, sir. 18 months from Hilly. It's been emotional. What's been emotional? Me being gone? Thank you for the tier 2, Hilly. Appreciate you. If you guys missed that Fall Guys stream, man, it was so fun. Oh my gosh. What's good, Feed? I see you in the chat. How are you, sir? How are you? Good to see you, Feed. Good to see you. What's strange? Well, there's a couple things that's strange about it. I think there's a couple things, Eugene. There's a couple things, and we're gonna be talking about this and how they handled this. There's elements of this I think is a little bit odd, right? And D-Tom in the waiting room for the hospital. First baby coming in a couple hours. Yo, D-Tom, enjoy the birth of that bebe. We love babies here. We do. We've got pictures of babes every once in a while. I've got people in my family having babies. It's great. That's awesome. Ryan with 11 months, and it's a tier 2. Welcome back. Guys, tier 2 members and tier 1 members, there are new rooms in the Discord, okay? And you go to your usual Reforge Lounge, that's fine. There's suggest games for everybody that's a member, and then there's vote on games. Give me your best game suggestions. Give me your best game suggestions in there for Friday Nights with Madam. I'll curate a list, and then I'll let the tier 2 members vote. So it's a great time to be a member. It's a great time to be a tier 2 member. It's a great time to hit the join button like Xerox just did, jumping in as a brand new member, or that might be your second month. I don't know. Maybe you got gifted last month. First 2 months are gray badge. 16 months from Creature, just a heads up. There are now 36 and 48 month badges on the channel. So for those that dig that kind of thing, we're going to the moon. We're going to the moon. Let's talk about what I think is weird or strange about the release date, okay? First and foremost, Eugene is going to tell you guys that this is what they did last time. I don't think that's a justification. Justification's not the right word. I don't think that's an explanation for how they handled this, okay? Well, this is how they did it last time. Okay, but this is still odd. It's still odd. Number one, I don't think I've ever seen a game company with a leak about an announcement about a release date, okay? That's step one of the strangeness. Okay, so what the You had a leak about an announcement, and it was just a release date announcement, a 30-second trailer. That's all it was. 30-second trailer. Number one, we know these are getting leaked through marketing companies. If you've been following gaming news for a while, you're probably wondering, how are all these leaks happening? They seem to primarily be coming from the marketing companies that work on everything, because they get the assets, and then you got one person at the company who's like, I'm going to tell my friend, and then it gets out, right? Freddie Jackson coming in big with a $20 tip through Super Chat. I've been on hiatus, but back to work and lurk. Hope you're doing well. Here's a 20 spot for my absence. Thank you so much, sir. I've been gone, so you weren't absent. I wasn't here. Kat coming in with 5 gifted memberships. They're already claimed. Casey, Seraphim, Ruddy, Fuzzy, Willie. My man Willie's here. The Xbox guys are here. They're not hiding. We had people in the Discord disparaging you last night, saying that you were going to be hiding out today, but you're here. I know why. You guys are a little wild in your Xbox fandom, but you're still men after all. So you don't hide, and that's admirable. If you just got a gifted membership from Kat, make sure and thank Kat. Thank you, Kat. Very generous. Abe coming in doing the same thing. Another 5 gifted. Krebsy, Devin, Blevins, Clado, Rowick, Dave. You guys all just got gifted members. Make sure and say thanks to Abe, even though it's Abe. You know, I love you, Abe. So yeah, the Xbox guys aren't hiding. They're not hiding, okay? There were some that thought this was going to get delayed. So the reason I think that this was strange, okay, is I thought that if you are going to have a leak, okay, about a release date announcement, I thought there was going to be something pretty significant with it. Not a 30-second trailer and a date. I thought we were going to get gameplay. I thought we were going to get a state of play announcement. Maybe a state of play was going to happen. It got too close to Thursday, so I knew it wasn't a state of play. A $10 tip from my man Mike on the mic. Good morning, chat. Welcome back, Lono. Don't you ever leave us that long again, MFer. I am so sorry. I know I'm part of your daily routine, and I threw your life into upheaval, and I apologize. But it was a great trip. We stayed with my brother, and we used to have to, camp out in his kids' rooms, and the kids would all have to shuffle rooms. They redid their entire basement, and we had, our own. It was like staying in a hotel, kind of. It was so nice. And it was, cool and real dark. I got some of the best sleep of my life, dude. It was amazing. It was like a very needed rest and respite. Fuzzy coming in with 10 gifted memberships. James, my man James got one. Demetrius, Ronaldo, Hellish Smoker, Eternal Darkness, Zach Quartz, Chapel, Angel, Felix, and Lazy Nerd. Guys, make sure and say thank you to Fuzzy. Thank you, Fuzzy. That's so generous to do that. Welcome back. Aren't the leaks more of a tactic to drum up hype? All right, well, here's the thing. I almost quit work this last week. Could not handle the grind without Lono in my ear. We the people. I hear you. I had a guy the guy that worked on my AC had a We the People tattoo on his here. This is your forearm. I guess that'd still be your forearm. Anyway, so the leak made me, I think, and other people, I think it made us all think, oh, this is going to be a pretty big deal. This is gonna be a pretty big announcement, right? This be something. No, it was nothing. It was a 30-second trailer and a date, which I'm not faulting them for that. Hear me say this, right? 2 months from James. Thank you for being awesome, and thanks for the gifted sub. My man, thank you, James. We knew what to expect from the leaks. Hendy and Schreier both said it would just be a blog and announcement. Well, okay. That's fair, Barrier, but they said that a lot closer to the date, okay? We stewed on that cryptic tweet from the snitch. We stewed on that for a couple of days. People were like, it's the 30th. What is it? What does it mean? The numbers, Mason. And those guys said that a couple of days later. We were pretty close to the announcement when they started saying that. It was Monday or Tuesday. I might not have the timeline exactly right, but my recollection and memory of this is those homies took a minute before they said that. So again, it just seemed like, all right, we're gonna get something pretty sizable, and then that happened. Now, that's not the only thing that's strange about it. There's layers to the strangeness here. I don't throw out thumbnails, and I don't try to get you to click in here just haphazardly. I genuinely think there's layers to the strangeness of what happened with this, okay? Yo, what's good? Happy to have you back. It's weird to not have your stream coming through my earbuds at work. Well, thank you, Alex, for that commitment. And Slow Mobius, I love that name. Slow Mobius coming in with half a year of support. Thank you for that milestone. If you guys see those memberships in chat with 6 months, 10 months, 12 months, that's how long they've been a member. They're not like paying for that much time, okay? Is it multiverse levels of strange? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Shut the frick up, Murph. Anyway. Okay. So that's the first thing. Is your game is so anticipated that a leak about an announcement of just the release date gets a ton of press and gets a ton of attention. I mean, for frick's sake, we talked about it, okay? All right? The happenings with the leaks, admittedly odd. I don't think Santa Monica's been odd. Well, let me get there, Eugene. Let me get there. I'm building my case, and people are giving tons of money and gifting, and I'm having to constantly stop, right? Roger with 9 months. Welcome back, Lono. Missed you. Thank you for hitting a 9-month milestone, an 11-month milestone from my man D-Tom, and it's a tier 2. Good to have you back. I love seeing those tier 2s. You guys are going to be thrilled with what we got coming for all members. Good things coming. Good things coming. Where's the show been? I was out of town, my friend, but we're back. We are back, and we are hoping to continue to have great announcements for you guys. Oh, and is this thing... We'll do that in a minute. I need Creature to give me a thumbs up. We'll do that in a minute. I need to update the shirt command. This is not a Spider-Man shirt. This is clearly a really, really dope Black Panther shirt. Okay. So, that's the ground runway, thing that led to the strangeness, okay? So the runway gets set by the leaks, in my opinion, okay? Runway gets set by the leaks because everybody thinks something big is coming. Now, you can sit here and be like, well, Schreier and Tom Henderson got out in front of it, or a couple days before, let everybody know that it was just going to be a trailer and a blog. Okay, that's fine. But the average person ain't paying attention to them. They just hear it from a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend that there's going to be some big thing. Almost not yet? Okay. Yo, Michael hitting a 14-month milestone. Welcome back in. So the runway gets completely set for strangeness because you had a leak about an announcement, okay? Usually the leak is that the game is being made, there's something happening, da-da-da-da-da, okay? Let me take a sip of my coffee. 4 months away, only a 30-second clip to show. Right. Oh, yeah, I saw that, Eugene. They sent the Let Me Solo Her a sword, and the sword says Rise Tarnished. So good. How to throw Lono off, throw cash at him. That's right. Famous Frosty with a 7-month milestone. Good to see you back, mate. Hope the fam is well. What edition will you be getting? I mean, I'll swipe all the way for the big one, hopefully. All right. So, the second thing that was strange is it doesn't happen. It's a blog and a 30-second trailer, and it doesn't happen. So that's strange thing number 2. Stranger Things, right? We finally finished it. Distorted Sama, thank you so much for 11-month milestone. Welcome back. So they don't even do it. So first and foremost, you have a leak about something pretty minor, to be fair, and then the really minor thing doesn't happen. So what on earth is going on? Did the blog not get approved? Did the trailer? You just don't know. Usually, there were people speculating that the snitch is somebody that works at YouTube and can see these things in the background. They can see the drafted videos, the private videos, etc. Right? So that's what people were thinking. So it's like, okay, so the video was likely ready to go. I have a hard time believing that blog wasn't ready to go. The only thing I could think, right? My gifted membership ran up. I have to legit get one. We really want to see how many people enjoyed all the members' perks and jump back in on their own. Like, I'm genuinely curious how many people do that. That's going to be a huge huge community growth thing for us that we'll be really excited about. We're going to be doing way more members content this month. Instead of going over to Reforge Radio, we're going to repurpose that channel for something else because it just wasn't working. And I didn't think it was fair to continue to ask people to support another channel, grow another member base. It just was not a good idea. So you will get more content as a member here, and I appreciate everybody who supported that experiment, but we wanted to pull the plug super fast. Yeah, do me a favor. If you haven't gone through your daily ritual, make sure you're on live chat. Smash the heck out of that like button. We got almost 500 people here. Let's get the likes way up. Good to see you, Fonzo. Good to see everybody here this morning. There's a variety of ways to support the channel, and we got good announcements coming with the coffee. You can continue buying the coffee, continue using my code on the shirts and all the rest. Yo, Vengeance coming in with 11 months. Welcome back, and don't leave again. Thank you for the tier 2 and for hitting an 11-month milestone. Okay, so here's the deal. I am establishing how this entire thing and the release date, it's all strange, okay? Strange element number 1, you get leaks about an announcement, and the leaks are about a 30-second trailer in a blog, okay? Strange thing number 2, something pretty insignificant, a 30-second trailer and a blog, doesn't happen the day that it's supposed to happen. Strange thing number 3, people lose their dadgum minds. They're sending explicit photos to people that are working on the game. They're messing with them. They're harassing them on I'll get to that, Smashville. You got to let me build the story here. So they start losing their minds to the point that Cory Barlog has to tell everybody to relax and to not mess with the employees of Santa Monica. Can y'all please leave us be? It's coming. So this game is so anticipated that a leak about a 30-second trailer breaks the world, and then when it doesn't happen, people lose their minds. They're angry. They're you're just messing with us at this point. There were people that thought the trailer and blog not happening, which granted, I'm saying that's strange, okay? I'm saying that's strange. Come on. Why couldn't you guys push out something so small? I'm not justifying people acting like absolute imbeciles, these over-emotional gamers that can't take disappointment and taking it to the streets, as it were. Okay, so that's a strange thing number 3. So we have 3 strange things. I'm just adding them all up here. The leak of something minor, the fact that something minor couldn't even happen, and that people went nuts. Okay, then it just sort of happens. What time was it? It was Wednesday at 9:15 Eastern or something. What was the exact time that they pushed everything out? They're all right, F y'all. You gonna act like you wanna act like kids? You can get treated like kids. So they just hit Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. And they're here you go, and here's a blog. Oh, and we have a 7.5-minute video about the collector's edition. So, if you want my honest opinion, before I really land the strange plane here, if you want my honest opinion, I think the collector's edition video is why all this happened. I do. I think the finishing touches had to be put on that. They had to make sure everything was correct, because there likely could have been things that they needed to take out, things that won't make it, because production and shipping and everything else is a dadgum disaster right now. So who knows? There could have been elements and trinkets. Maybe they had to reshoot it, re-edit it. I don't know. But my thought is, it's not the 30-second video. It's not the blog post. It's that dadgum collector's edition, okay? That is what stalled this entire thing. Because that's a pretty long video, 7.5 minute video. There was a lot of work put into that, okay? I'm not done, by the way. There's one final piece to the strange puzzle, all right? November the 9th, the God of War Ragnarok release date, November the 9th, is a Wednesday. Now, I mean, people are telling me that they tweeted. So apparently, Sony Santa Monica tweeted, November the 9th equals Wednesday equals Odin's Day equals coincidence? So, they are basically saying we're releasing our game on a Wednesday because it's Odin's Day. Now, PlayStation has announced just today new trailers, release date reveals, gameplay debuts, and more as we celebrate independent creators from around the world. So 7 indie games with a new one being shown every 15 minutes will start when? When is this? Coming up, 7 reveals, blah, blah, blah. We have a fun morning planned. We'll update you on 7 indies. Oh, this is not a state of play. Our first update lands in 10 minutes, basically. So in 10 minutes, Sony is going to start blogging, tweeting, and announcing indies. So it's not a state of play. Sorry. So in 10 minutes, we're going to get the first one. Sony's ramping up. Here it comes. My man, Sane, dude. Love to see you, Sane. Hitting that 3-month milestone. Thanks for renewing your membership. Welcome back to Reforge Gaming. And get yourself some Reforge roast. I can't wait to show you something. Oh, golly. I'm not going to jump the gun because I'll get in big trouble. Okay? I'll get in big trouble, but I'm very excited. I'm very excited to show you guys something. And it's not an OnlyFans. That's never happening. Saw that baby seal leather driving gloves is back on perp. Who cares? Seriously, who cares? They let legitimate people guilty of misconduct back on, but not people that aren't, you know? That's the way that platform runs. Fonzo with 15 months. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, dude. That's a big milestone, Fonzo. And it's a tier 2. Hit him with the leaf blow. Leaf blow. Hey, guys, just got out of a meeting. Can I get a recap of everything we discussed the past 21 minutes? I'll give you the flyover if you just got here. First and foremost, if you've never been here before, welcome on in. This is Reforge Gaming, a daily talk show where we do gaming discussions. We do reaction content. I got a big one for you for our second show today. Upper Echelon, talking about Cyberpunk. He's going to get himself sued. It'll be a fun video. We cover all kind of things here, so make sure you're subscribed. Hit that bell button so you don't miss. Monday through Friday, we're here. We're coming off of a break. All right, we're coming off of a break, and I was gone for a little bit, and I'm back. I am a safe for work broadcaster, okay? So you can hit subscribe in confidence. I'm not going to be sitting here swearing in your ear. People treat me like video game radio or like a gaming podcast. They throw me on in the background of their day. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Make sure you're smashing the like button. Consider becoming a member. For $5 a month. You get access to practically daily members-only content, weekly segments with my wife, a monthly gaming community game night. It's good stuff, okay? Demetrius is jumping back in. 2 months of memberships. 2 months of gifted on my alt. I could get used to this. I love it. I love that you are getting a streak off of gifting. Weird to have my first time tune in the week be a Thursday night. What's a Thursday? Why is that? Anyway. Yeah. You're used to it being Monday, right? Anyways, let me give you the flyover, right? I'm in the middle of moving. Tell them we'll open the coffee for again, noon. They're trying. I have both stores closed to prevent confusion. Guys, if you're trying to order coffee, don't. Orders will be reopening at noon. We're very excited. Okay? We know that you're excited. All right? We know that you like coffee. Okay? But you can't order. We'll reopen everything at noon. We are in the process of something right now. Yeah, we're 4 weeks away from some Brono idiocy. Yeah, my brother's going to be in town, right? The prodigal son returns. That's right. Coyote with a tier 4, 16-month milestone. Love you, Coyote. Welcome back in. Guys, don't forget if you're a tier 2 member or above, you can be voting on games very, very soon. Any member can suggest games in our Discord for Friday nights with my wife. We have a room now called Suggest Games. It's in the Reforge Lounge. So, let me give you the flyover. You just tuned in and you haven't been here. I'll give you the too long didn't read because I know you might have missed the first 34 minutes of the broadcast. So, the Dominic with an 11-month milestone. Welcome back to Reforge Gaming. I am saying that the God of War Ragnarok release date is strange for a handful of reasons, and I made my case. There are 4 or 5 points to my case, and I will now outline them. Even Amber Turd's lawyers couldn't handle me right now, okay? I've got 5 points. I have 5 fingers. This is very easy to count these off. Yo, Mr. Glum coming in, gifting 10 memberships. Pure Lycian, Alexander, Javier, or that's probably Xavier, Jedi Wix, Daily Grind, Stephen Marston, So Neka King, After Hours Gaming, Scotty B, and Zen. Hey, if I just called your name, make sure and thank my man, Mr. Glum. 10 gifted memberships is very generous. Thank you, Mr. Glum. Let's get those thank yous in the chat. Get those emotes in the chat. Objection hearsay. Okay, so step 1 for the strangeness of this. Step 1, point 1, is that there were leaks pertaining to just an announcement. And not only were these leaks about just an announcement, but the announcement is literally a 30-second trailer and a blog post. That's strange thing number 1. Strange thing number 2, a 30-second trailer and a blog post doesn't even happen when it's supposed to. Why? I don't know. Bizarre. Pretty minor thing to push out, and yet doesn't happen. Third strange thing. Because it doesn't happen, everyone loses their dadgum minds. People were sending, apparently, allegedly, they were sending explicit images to people that have worked on the game. Now listen, I know most men think they have impressive everything. Well, maybe not. Maybe you're full of shame and regret. But lots of guys out there think a picture of their body parts impressive. It's not. But they think that it is. And apparently they thought that was the best course of action to motivate, Santa Monica to release the release date. Like, release the Kraken. Maybe was what they were thinking. I don't know. This is getting weird. Anyways, Santa Monica and Cory Barlog have to, tell them to stop. They're like, what are you doing? Don't mess with our employees. Don't send explicit images to them. This is absolutely absurd. What the frick's going on? Now, I want to do a sidebar here, okay? Let me do a sidebar rant about trolls on the internet. This is something that I think streamers and community managers fail to understand almost habitually, okay? Right? They fail to understand this. Most of the trolls on the internet that do this sort of a thing, they're not even interested in what's going on. They're not. They just want to be a terrible presence, a toxic fume. Does that make sense? They're not concerned. Most of the people that do this sort of thing, they don't give a rip about whatever the subject matter is. They're just an insect that follows the crowd. And they're like, well, what are we hating on today? What are we downvoting? Who are we attacking? Who are we bashing? Who are we maliciously going after on Twitter? Because that's their existence. And once you see them for that, do you know what I do when I get some ants in my house? They start coming in the front door that time of year. You get a couple ants in my house. I don't throw my hands up in the air and go, I don't believe it, and call the local news and say, can you believe that there's an infestation in my home? This is unconscionable. There are ants in my home in 2022. No, you don't do that. What, you squash them and then you get a little ant trap, and then that's sort of the end of the matter. And if people would say, oh, these pea-brained ridiculous, zero self-control, zero self-awareness, psychologically disturbed insects, if they would just look at them and see them for how small they are, they'd be like, squash, block, ban, squash. It's real easy, right? It's super easy to squash a bug and just scrape it off the bottom of your foot. And you're like, well, that was fun. I'm done with that now. That was traumatic. I guess I need to write a Me Too blog about those ants making me uncomfortable. But the fact of the matter is that if companies and streamers would see them for what they are, you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't give them the time of day. You wouldn't give them press headlines. So this is another element that was strange about it. I was like, so we're giving press headlines and people are blogging and writing articles and making videos about what amounts to probably a small handful of like children that are, acting dumb about a video game. So, streamers could learn the same thing about trolls. They like run to Twitter and they're like, it's really triggering to be told that my viewership's low. It's like, shut up. No one cares. Like, no one that follows you or sees your tweets going to be like, I've changed my ways. A self-righteous tweet was the bell that needed to ring in my ear, 11 months from John Always. This is an acceptable member message. Thank you. This went beyond normal trolling. There's no such thing as normal trolling, Eugene. The minute someone crosses over into the lane of harassing you or DMing you, first and foremost, why are your DMs open? Can we talk about that for just a second? Like, hey, everybody in the gaming world, how are you? You work on video games, right? Yeah, you're a community manager and you're an engineer. Good for you. Oh, you work in quality assurance. Yeah, the gaming world hates you and you get treated unfairly, but we see you. All right, I need you all to do something for me. Open up your Twitter accounts, okay? Are your DMs open? Yeah? Why? Why would you do that? Shut them. There are proper ways to let people contact the company if it's a content creator looking for a free key because they want to stream to their mom and Nightbot and they think that's a sizable influencing footprint, so they want to get a free key. You can have a process for people to do that. So this isn't victim blaming, by the way. This is just sensible, existing on the internet. Right? Why are your DMs open? I remember this is a controversy on the Purple platform. People were getting harassed in their whispers. I was like, well, why are your whispers open? Why? You just gonna let any crazy person on the internet talk to you? Why? I don't put my phone number on the stall of a bathroom. Why? For the same reason. I don't need a crazy person texting or calling me. Zach Smith coming in with 3 months, and Cornell Collins doing a brand new membership. My man jumping back in. Thank you. Folks constantly not using the tools they're provided with, just like what happened with the hate raids on Purple. Right. It was the same thing with the hate raids on Purple. It was the same dadgum thing. You had tools at your disposal to shut it down, to shut your chat down as soon as it started. But what did you do instead? Well, I'm going to go to Twitter and get everybody's sympathy and get more hate raids because you let everybody know that was a thing that they could do, and you let everybody know that it really upset you. So, sidebar. That's my sidebar rant. I think that the gaming press and the gaming world and all these people, they always pour gas on the troll fires because they give them what they want. They give them headlines and they get all rattled and traumatized, and then everybody says, oh, that's blood in the water, I can't believe there's all these sharks over here. And you're just throwing water and blood and chum into the water. It just doesn't make any sense. And you just keep chucking it out there. That's why. They're doing it, because you're basically telling them to. Call me TK, coming in as a brand new member. Thank you for that, sir. I recognize that name. You were on Purple. You were on purple. Where you guys going? Thanks for the gifted last time. I got this one. Oh, that's your second month then. Call me TK. I appreciate that. I love seeing that. We've had so many people do that this morning. That's so encouraging. Hey, guys, if you're just now tuning in, we're talking God of War. We're talking strangeness. There were strange things happening. I just did a sidebar rant about trolls and responding to trolls. Let me be clear about something. The people at fault and the people to blame are the deranged lunatics who live terminally online and do this to people. They're the problem. Do you understand? However, there are also people who try to break into homes. There are people who try to do all kind of terrible things, and you take proper precautions to keep those things from happening. You lock your car, you lock your house, when you take a trip especially, and when you're sleeping. You do all these things because, listen, it's not because I think everyone in my neighborhood's going to be like, hey, let's do our nightly walk through the neighborhood where we try to break into the homes of our neighbors. No, there's a small percentage of people in the world who would try such a thing, but they're out there, and you can't let them, number one, rule you by fear. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so many. My kids were asking me about that. Like, how many robbers are out there? I'm like, they're what do you mean robbers? But they're reading books and listening to things, and it puts it in their brain, and then they're thinking about it. And in their mind, it's this big thing that's out there, and it just isn't. It's right, small percentage of people. I think the same is true online. I think most of the people that go online do not do this. They could be nasty. They could be unkind and insult. That's fine. There are people out there that are uncouth and crass or whatever. But you're letting this small percentage of people just crawl in your bedroom door, crawl in your bedroom window and steal your stuff and make you feel unsafe when all you got to do is lock the dadgum window. Right? Morning, Lono. Hope you enjoyed your time off. Sure you needed it. Thank you, Suede. It felt great. Next time you talk to someone at YouTube, suggest that the message is different if a user converts a gifted membership to a paid. So, yes, Abe. Oh my gosh. We need gifted metrics. We need the ability to track that. I need to know when someone converts. 100%, bro. Yes. Top level suggestion. They should be given the option, right? They should come to the chat and be like, hey, your gifted membership's up. Would you like to convert? And they're like, yeah, I would. And then I should be able to know that. I just had an hour-long conversation with my 8-year-old about tornadoes and why we're safe from them in Philadelphia. Yeah, my daughter really is scared of tornadoes. Finally, you're back. OMG, work sucks without this awesome show. Good morning. What's up, my man, Uncle Brada? Good to see you. You crawl into my home uninvited in the middle of the night, no questions asked. Yeah, I mean, I can't help what happens. I mean, listen, if I've got traps in my house that'll, behead you or dismember you or, who knows what happens. Maybe I accidentally, chloroform you and make you eat M80s. Anything can happen if you break into my home and threaten my family. I mean, there's a variety of things. It's just a wild world at night when the lights are out. You don't know. It's just not safe. It's not advised to break into the home. It's just not advised. I wouldn't do it. Oh, you've never seen a tornado? Well, booby traps are kind of illegal. Well, what if I'm a connoisseur of booby traps? I just love them. I'm a collector, and I always put them beneath the window, I collect bear traps. I think they're awesome. I really like the old vintage ones that are rusty with 18 diseases on the blades, right? I think they're great. I think they're relics of a bygone era, and I love collecting them, and I love to put them underneath all of my windows. They're like, just the facts, sir. What happened here? The man broke into your house and he stepped into a bear trap? Yeah. I have one under every window in my home. Well, can you explain that? Why you do that, sir? Well, I think they're great. I collect them, and if you know of anybody that sells them, I need some more. Because now this one's got that guy's, foot in it, and I have to get rid of it. So I'm going to need to get some more. Yeah, but can you explain why is his head in a hamster cage? Where's his eyeballs? It's just beyond me. I don't know what happened. He came in like that. People are into weird stuff, officer. People are into weird stuff, bro. This guy broke into my house, handcuffed, with his eyes eaten out, and he stepped into my bear trap. Yo, Akuta Papa with 11-month milestone. Now I can fall asleep to this voice again. Welcome back, Lono. Thank you for doing a tier 3. A working bear trap holds its value, so you have to keep them armed. That's right. That's right. Lono likes the light. Likes the way the light hits the bear trap under the window. Yeah, it's the best lighting. It's the best. It's the absolute best lighting. Well, how many chainsaws do you own? I don't know. What's the problem with 7? Why are they above the doors with ropes? Well, that's the best way to store them, And that way, when you open the door, it swings, and I'm reminded that I own a chainsaw. It's just how I like to store them. What's the problem? No, you can't go in my basement. Yo, Killshot coming in with 2 months of membership. Glad to hear you had a fun time to decompress. Now back to the gaming industry grind. Love all the great content. Thank you, sir. Thank you. If you guys are enjoying the show, getting a little wild, getting a little weird, let's bring it back. God of War Ragnarok release date. I was making a case for why it was strange, and we got off on a tangent about the people that trolled Santa Monica, okay? No one should be trolled. No one should have to be subjected to the deranged behavior of an internet moron. But there are pretty basic things you can do to protect yourself from being subjected to those types of things. And, I was talking about keeping your windows closed, and we just went off on a weird, funny, comical tear. I don't actually own any bear traps. If anybody ever broke into my home, there are simpler solutions to that problem. It doesn't require booby traps, okay? In any case, we were working our way through all the strange things that happened. I think the devs are just tired of the pics being sent. Right, but number one, who is doing that? In great number? Is that like a thing now? And also, you have to understand something. My man Ashen Hollow coming in, 11-month milestone. Free hugs, except for Eugene and Wheezy. Here's the thing. Do you know that you can create like a brand new Twitter account and suffer 0 consequences if it gets banned, right? Recently, a YouTuber lost their YouTube account, like a 3.5 million subscriber channel. I get nauseous thinking about this. Oh my golly. Like, whew. It was deserved, okay? What they did was absolutely reprehensible. Can we get a couple more likes? Let's get 300 likes. What this person did was reprehensible, and we're not going to talk about them. We're not going to name them or talk about the situation. But they did something that was incredibly wrong. They broke TOS, and they lost their channel. Now, when YouTube responded to them publicly about it, they said the decision stands, okay? The decision stands, and you can't make any more accounts, okay? Yo, what's good, Lufi? So, you can't even make any more accounts. If Twitter would do this, man, it'd be a dadgum miracle if they were like, hey, we suspended you for breaking 8 different rules in a day, and guess what? You can't make any more accounts. Any attempts to do so will be thwarted. Now, I know somebody might say, oh, but couldn't they switch their IP and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, yeah, maybe. But the fact of the matter is these companies could be taking better efforts, so I applaud YouTube for doing that. So one of the things that you should be considering if you're on Twitter as a publicly facing person, especially in the video game industry, is Twitter's not going to take care of you unless it's, and they will, but they won't, because people can just make brand new accounts and be like, I'm really angry that this game's not coming out. They make a brand new account, and they give you a follow. They look you up, throw you a follow, and lo and behold, there's a little envelope there. Oh, DM you. Boom, send you an image. You know what's funny is you can't even see the image at first. It says, like, what does it say when you get the image? You have to show the media, right? Right here. This media is hidden. It's hidden since it's from someone you don't follow. And I'm like, oh golly, what could this be? Hopefully, it's a big giant... Oh, it's just a picture of the God of War Collector's Edition. Rats. I was hoping it was a nude. And so you're opening a DM from a stranger, and then you're being like, yeah, let me click on this random image and hope that... Oh, golly, this is terrible, right? So my point is that the people that are doing it are disgusting and horrible, and Twitter should be doing a much better job of shutting these people down in a more permanent way. But you have to, you kind of have to do a little bit of due diligence, Don't open DMs from strangers and click on the image. Now, obviously, they could trick you and be like, hey, really excited about the new game. Here's a picture of my puppy wearing a Kratos, outfit. And it's not that. Like, sure. Cool channel, subscribe, but I've watched for 25 minutes and I heard 5 minutes of God of War talk. I'm out. I'm gonna shatter your life right now. Your delusions of how much what you're doing matters in this present moment. You could be a brain surgeon for all I know, but in this present moment, no one cares, and you will not be missed. So I just want you to know that you don't matter. All right. I don't even see DMs from people I don't know. I usually get to... Yeah, you have to go in and unlock it. That's the thing. You actually have to... Here's a pic of my God of War. Now listen. If they took the time... Okay, Kratos' tattoo on his bald head. All I'm going to say is that if they took the time to do that, to get like a red Sharpie, and they put a little artistic flair, I would at least say, hey, you took some effort, but this is still horrible. At least acknowledge the artistic accuracy and effort that went into it. Depending on the size of the canvas, it might have been pretty challenging. Has to be covered in ashes. Yeah. Honey, what are you doing with the fire pit? Honey, what are you doing? Nothing. Leave me alone. It's an important project for work. Where's all my red Sharpies? Oh, golly. Oh, my gosh. We're never getting sponsored by anything with Santa Monica. I'm really looking forward to this game, though. Isn't Kratos black? I mean, listen, they're not all ashy, Mo. Come on, that's offensive. You think God of War Ragnarok won Game of the Year, Game Awards 2022 like God of War 2018? Pico, I'll tell you what, God of War Ragnarok Game of the Year is likely for a couple of reasons, okay? It's contending against one game and one game only. And that game is Cooking Mama. No, that game is Elden Ring, okay? So, Elden Ring has it locked in right now, as far as we know. Elden Ring's the front runner. Elden Ring's out in front. It is. But if you've ever watched a race, that latecomer has got its stamina still. It's got that boom right at the end. Okay? So, the dilemma facing Elden Ring, okay, the dilemma facing Elden Ring, I think Elden Ring's got it locked up, but there are challenges for Elden Ring. Number one, it's a FromSoft game, and FromSoft games, the press, have a unique relationship with FromSoft games. Now, Elden Ring got media darling treatment, okay? It got media darling treatment, 10s out of 10s, and all this stuff, and that's great. Yay. Yay for Elden Ring. It was a truly great game, probably the best open world game I've ever played, okay? However, these are all of the disadvantages it has when going up against God of War Ragnarok. God of War Ragnarok will have recency bias. The recent thing that you've played, it's more memorable, it's more ingrained in your brain, it's fresh. Talk to now would be a good time to insert ads. Creators earn more money inserting ads the more viewers are watching. Give it a try. Why don't you back up, YouTube, okay? Like, every time that pops up, I want gifted members instead, and we'll show YouTube how live streaming is done, all right? I'm going to teach you a thing or two, YouTube. You ready? Anyway, it just popped up right there on the YouTube dashboard. What in the frick was I saying? Dadgummit! Okay, yeah, the disadvantages. So Elden Ring has got some disadvantages going up against God of War Ragnarok. Recency bias being the front runner. Talk to artists, and their most recent project is always their best work. It's always their favorite or whatever, okay? So recency bias is huge. There's another element to recency bias. So imagine recency bias being like the foundation that I'm building my argument on, okay? Thought you were on a break. I got back 2 days ago. I had to take yesterday off because of some issues with my air conditioning, okay? So this is your foundation, recency bias. Right on top of that is God of War Ragnarok will be more memorable in the realm of narrative, story, characters, voice acting, all that is virtually absent from Elden Ring, okay? Like, but there's lore, and if you talk to this person and then travel, shut up, okay? Don't even start that with me. No, the lore and the story in Elden Ring is dope, but come on, it's a breadcrumb trail of a breadcrumb trail of a breadcrumb trail, and you can literally ruin a quest line and not know it. So don't even try that, okay? So you got recency bias, you got a story and characters, voice acting, all of that way more memorable. And here's the capstone, okay? Here's the capstone challenge that faces Elden Ring going up against God of War Ragnarok for Game of the Year. People will be able to beat Ragnarok more exhaustively and feel more satisfaction because of the fact it's not a FromSoft game. They can literally turn the difficulty down and do gamer journalist mode, which is like, I can't die, and, I have to beat this game really quickly because, I have to go read Reddit and steal ideas for articles. So they're real busy, these guys, and so they've got to play the game pretty fast, and that's going to be, all of that is etched in their brain going into Game Awards. Recency bias, the stories, the characters, the narrative, a more exhaustive playthrough, a more satisfactory playthrough, if that makes sense. Hugging NPC is going to carry Elden Ring to the victory. How do sequels do in Game of the Year? Well, ask The Last of Us 2, as it got, ushered in as a Game of the Year over Tsushima, a brand new IP. Go ahead, ask it how it did it. Freaking. After Sekiro winning Game of the Year, I think you can't really argue Elden Ring's difficulty as a barrier to win Game of the Year, though. I can argue it, and I have argued it. I didn't say that it would keep it tattoos. I said it was a challenge. Don't pretend that Sekiro winning invalidates that reality. Like, come on, man. Come on. Like, just because Sekiro won doesn't mean difficulty is not a challenge for Elden Ring winning. It's still a challenge. I'm not saying it's going to disqualify. I'm just saying in the gaming press world, that's a challenge. Sekiro overcame that challenge. Elden Ring can overcome the challenge. Hear what I'm saying. I'm not saying that Elden Ring won't win. I'm saying here are all the challenges that it's facing. Did you play Last of Us 2? Oh, shut up, Mo. Did you? You don't even own the PlayStation. Sekiro won Game of the Year, released in March that year. I don't think recency bias is as prevalent as you're arguing. I didn't say it was prevalent. I said these are the challenges facing Elden Ring. I mean, you can't really falsify it. It's just an opinion. I'm just saying here are the things that I think are a challenge to Elden Ring. I didn't conclude that it would lose or win. I didn't draw a conclusion. I said, these are the things that I see being a challenge for Elden Ring. That's all I'm saying. I said this before I said that. I said, I think Elden Ring's got it locked in right now. They got it locked up. It's a generation-defining game. It's one of the best open-world games I've ever friggin' played. But these are the challenges that it faces. Bread, thoughts on bread? Bread has its own challenges too. If it's too soft, it breaks apart when you try to spread the butter. If it's too hard, it tastes kind of stale. Bread, as a product, really needs to land in that nice middle where it's firm enough to have something spread on it, but soft enough to be enjoyable. Just like a woman. I'm just kidding. Stop. Don't clip that. Come on. Trying to rebuild a career here. Frickin' unbelievable. You totally baited me into saying that. Thoughts on bread. I see what you're doing. While Tsushima's a masterpiece, it just happened to come up against another arguable masterpiece with a bonus of additional game adding to its greatness. Yeah. Whatever. And canceled. If bread's too short, if bread's too hard, it hurts the inside of your mouth too. What? How hard are you letting your bread get? Jiminy, if it gets that hard, why would you attempt to eat it? Well, this is, I could sand my boat with it, or I could put it in my mouth. That's the true test, isn't it? I think he's talking about toast. I do like my bread slightly burnt. You need to play it. You need to play it, Mo. No, yeah, with the members-only content that we're wanting to do, yeah, there'll be more opportunities for playthroughs. Returnal could come back. If it's members-only, who gives a rip about the viewership? What's in the coffee? Lono's extra spicy today. You know, I saw a thing on Facebook because, you know, I was on Facebook. Anyway, so I was on Facebook because my relatives were posting pictures because we were doing a get-together and whatnot. And so I was just checking Facebook. And I saw this woman posted this thing. And it was one of those, like, you can tell the image is stolen. It's a stolen image of a woman holding a necklace. And the necklace is a bird or something. It was an eagle, I think. I think it was an eagle. And they tell this story of this guy driving an Uber, and he's super nice and super friendly, and he's giving her like 5-star treatment. And she's like, "Let me ask you something. Have you always been like this with your customers?" And he said no, but he had seen. You mean Meta? Meta just is the parent company now. It's still Facebook. And he said he heard this speech about, you know, eagles fly above and ducks just quack and complain. And he wasn't going to be a duck anymore, and he was going to be an eagle. And I'm not one of those people that like reads something like that and is like, my whole life has changed. I'm going to be an eagle now. But it did make me think a little bit about how he said he had like doubled and tripled his earnings by changing the way he approached his business, because he said he had clients that would call him to pick them up. They liked him so much. He had basically went from being like a normal Uber to like essentially he was a professional chauffeur because people loved him so much. Okay. So they had changed their entire business approach. So I thought about that. I thought, well, with the show, bring that energy, bring that humor, bring that fire, and it'll make people want to come back, Anyway, that's not the only reason. I have tried to like up the energy level in comedy in the mornings just because as an artist, as a creator, as a creative person, that's something I'm always working on. It's called a bread cleanse. It cleanses and scrubs your system out. Yeah, it scratches all the skin off the inside of your mouth and your esophagus, and you can't talk. But boy, oh boy, you're going to feel like $1 million as it smooths the inside of your intestines, 4 million YouTube views as well. Ragnarok release date Instagram. The announcement generated 1 million likes on Instagram within 17 hours, a milestone rarely reached on the PlayStation Instagram account. By comparison, the Instagram post announcing Last of Us Part 1 Remake was posted 3 weeks ago and currently has 317 likes. Listen, I know what Eugene is doing. Because I used the word strange, and he came in here ready. He's like, hey, is anybody saying anything bad about Sony or Santa Monica or Boy or God of War or Boy? And so he's ready to defend the marketing decisions of Santa Monica. I'm not criticizing Santa Monica's choice, all right? Some of the views, the 4 million YouTube views and the likes on Instagram, can we be honest about something? It's not because of how they executed. It's because the game is insanely anticipated. Like, we cannot say, oh yeah, if you really want to get a good marketing push, what you got to do is you got to leak the announcement and then don't do it. And then like a week later, just sort of clumsily shove it out on YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram at 9 in the morning Eastern. And, yeah, you'll get a ton of views. You weren't posting because of that? Why, yesterday, you got a little snippy. You were like, you're going to question, what did you say? I was questioning a multi-million-dollar corporation's marketing strategy, something like acting like I know better. I'm not posturing as if I know better. I am merely, after 8 years of covering gaming, I'm just pointing out something that felt anomalous. It felt a little strange. It felt like, what the frick are you guys doing? This is odd. This entire circumstance, all the circumstances that led to this moment have been a little strange. Look at what they did. I didn't even go back far enough. Setting my coffee down. 11 months from tattoos. That's a nice milestone. Glad to have you back. My work week was dragging without you. Well, let's drag this work week to the road and kill it. I don't know why I said that. I was going to say drag it to the finish line, and it just turned violent. We didn't go back far enough. What they did the week of Summer Game Fest was also incredibly bizarre. It was super bizarre. What the frick are y'all doing over there? Hey, I have a great idea. You guys track with me here. Everybody come on in. Yeah, Dave, shut the door. We don't want this getting out because this is brilliant. This is such a good idea. Savage Shark Bite with an 11-month milestone. Welcome back. What we're going to do, let's update the placeholder date for God of War Ragnarok. Get this. The week of Summer Game Fest. And then, let's say nothing. And everyone's like, oh, he's a genius. This is brilliant. This is so, we're going to get everybody's attention. We're going to stir up the gaming press 2 days before Summer Game Fest. And then we're going to say nothing. 900 IQ. So that right there, do you want to know why people were irritated? They were like, you just are messing with us at this point. You're trolling your fans. You got some guy leaking June 30th after you gave everybody blue. I'm not going to say it. You gave everybody anticipation and annoyance. What's a clinical thing to, what would the doctor say? What would the doctor call that? In any case, you gave everybody, frustrated anticipation. And after that, you're like, I got it. I know what we'll do. We won't even release the date and the blog when we're supposed to. It's just too hard. It's too difficult, Pressing publish, who can do that? Who can figure out these things? And that's why everybody got so irritated, right? I'm not justifying people's actions. I'm empathizing and sympathizing with their frustrations. Oh, you were being cheeky. Okay. In any case, it's been a bit of a bizarre turn of events, right? It's been a bit of a bizarre turn of events. And it started with Summer Game Fest. What are you guys talking about? Well, there's a rumor that there's somebody on YouTube named Coffee Kid who goes around to YouTube chats and isn't sure what's going on. They're kind of lost in life. And you're here. We're talking about God of War Ragnarok release date and all of the craziness that led to it. Swollen epididymis. Is that it? Is that it? A swollen epididymis? A couple times a day. We're talking about how people on the internet can't handle the anticipation of being teased. Yeah. Epididymal hypertension. Yeah. Are you drunk? No, Veter, I'm not drunk. Jiminy Christmas. Have you actually ever watched a Friday night stream where I have drinks? This is not how I can't maintain this level of thought. It's usually really slow and drawn out and kind of sleepy-eyed. Have you ever watched a Friday night stream, bro? Oh, it brings me down. It mellows me out. It doesn't take me up, that's for sure. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. I'm gonna live my life the way I want to live it. What's in that Yeti? Rum. I'm just kidding. Gamers are acting so entitled nowadays. I'm old enough to remember back in the day when we had no clue when games were coming out. Yeah. Lono's drunk because he gets quiet. Yeah, I'm just breathing into the mic, trying to play the game and trying to focus. I'm almost leaning on the mic. I'm like, how do you... Oh, there's one in there. Oh, come on. Oh, that's bull. Oh, there's a good neck pop in there. I felt it when I tilted my head, and I couldn't get it. Dadgummit. When is the new coffee order URL up? We should be able to take coffee orders in about an hour and a half. We had to suspend all orders. You can't order coffee right now. We are working on something. And, my electric company just sent me tips, energy-saving tips for the summer heat. And they put an emote in the subject. Extreme heat and its potential impact on your monthly bill. The heat is on, and that could mean a significant jump in your monthly energy use. During the dog days of summer, your air conditioner is likely to run a lot more. Use these energy efficiency tips to get the most bang for your energy buck. All right, let's see what their tips are. All right. Enter into a self-induced coma for the next 3 days. No, it doesn't say that. It says give the AC some TLC, have a professional inspect and tune it up. That's actually a good idea. We did that, and it cost me $450 because he charged me a lot just to come out because it was super late in the day. I was his last call, And then he charged me $300 for the capacitor. And my father-in-law was like, those capacitors are like $50. I'm like, what do you want me to do? Knock him over the head and just steal it? Throwing shade can be a good thing. Keep curtains, drapes, and blinds closed during the hottest parts of the day to prevent the sun's rays from heating your home. Adjust your home's thermostat up by 2 degrees in the summer. Using a programmable thermostat can also help save you 10%. So what, you expect me to live in 74 degrees instead of 72? What, is this a fascist state? Get out of my inbox. I refuse. I'm going to go down 2 degrees. Hibernate in the hot and cold months to save electricity. Yeah, that's really what we should be doing. Should everybody go into self-induced comas for the summer? It's always 72. That's right. That's right. Energy saving tips for your electric bill. Don't use air conditioning. Sweat all summer and you can save $3 on your next bill. I got a Nest thermostat. It paid for itself. Well, I need to look into getting the attic, I think, spray foam, like sealed, because they have like the fluffy stuff on the ground, but the roof is just like bare wood. And I'm like, I bet you if we spray foam insulated that, it would make a huge difference. So, yeah. Boy. I hope they lay off the amount of boy. In God of War Ragnarok, it got annoying. In God of War 1, boy. Read it, boy. You are not ready, boy. I loved it. I say it to my son all the time, like, boy. He's like, boy. Oh no, you don't want to do that? Is there anything they can do to the attic to help? Not in your climate? Maybe not spray foam, but can't they do, like... Can't they do something to it? Could they do the kind where they, like, roll it? A radiant barrier on the roof works, too. Yeah, I'm going to call around and be like, man, you guys got to come do something, because this is freaking ridiculous. Just add more of the fluffy. But the roof is just getting... It's a black shingles, so it's just loving the sun. An attic fan or like a solar fan? Yeah, I need one of those that like triggers on a timer and just does it, because we have one of those big jet engines in the hallway, and I turn that on, you open the windows, and woof, and it flushes all that air out. But then the house is hot, you know? Attic space finished with an exhaust fan? Yeah, I don't have that kind of money. We didn't have furniture in the house until recently, man. Exactly what Smash said. You trap the moisture. Oh, it'll just trap the moisture. Well, for frick's sake. Yeah, all the windows in the house are nice. It's not that. It just comes from the attic. I had to get an attic cover. We have like one of those old, like, you pull down on it and the ladder comes down. And I put a cover on that. That helped, because it was just coming down into the hallway. Got to pay me extra to sit on your roof and radiate brilliance. Not foam, but spray filler for the entire floor of the attic to mitigate heat transfer into the house. I just put a video in the Discord, would make for good reaction content. Okay. I think this would make for great reaction content. What do you got here? Starfield leak from Juicehead. How old is that video? It is fairly old. I don't know about that. Starfield's hot, but that's an old vid. That's an old vid. Yes, you guys are already putting suggest games in the gaming suggest room. Love it. Your attic may not be vented properly. It's an old house, so that's probably true. No lie, just climbed my attic ladder through the ceiling cover to change filters before I got on here. There you go. There you go. You get a lot of content here at Reforge Gaming. We're talking God of War Ragnarok release date and, heat and attics and all of it. I'm in construction, I can tell you, when you spray foam the bays before the insulation, it makes the cold stay in and the heat out in the summer and cold in the winter. Amazing stuff. You need a dehumidifier up there and a way to release the moisture. There are vents. There are vents up there. Gaming news lacking lately, I see. No? What do you mean? Just yesterday, we got the God of War Ragnarok release date, a Forspoken delay, and there was something else that happened. There's all kind of stuff happening right now. What do you mean? The most anticipated game of the year after Elden Ring released a trailer, release date, a blog, collector's editions. How is that lacking in gaming news? Yeah, a bunch of stuff happened yesterday. Do you feel vindicated on the on the GOT release date? I think you put Ghost of Tsushima release date. I think you meant to say GOW. I mean, listen, Graydon. Oh, yeah, there's a Ubisoft stream today. We can't cover that. We'll kick that to tomorrow morning. I'll give you my thoughts on whatever the frick they show and do. We'll do a breakdown. They got like Division Mobile and something else. I don't know what. We'll be breaking all that down tomorrow. I have a dermatologist appointment today. Because if I want to get... I put this stuff on my face and it helps with like this stress-induced acne that I get sometimes. And if I want to get it renewed, I got to go see this guy. Yeah, that's what it was. Thank you, Veter. Skull and Bones, they're going to be doing a big game play breakdown. So we'll do that tomorrow morning. That should be pretty fun. Co-streaming it would be fun, but people like my gameplay breakdown, so that should be good. If you're talking about the no content for the last week, he's been on vacation, you ding-dong. Oh, yeah, I've been out of town. Medication, just don't get stressed, forehead. Yeah, that's all you got to do. Just don't get stressed. I was hoping for Spoken this year. Could have been Game of the Year. Skiffy, with respect, I don't think Forspoken stood a chance at all because it would have been going up against Horizon Forbidden West and God of War, which are two really, really established titles. And then you got Elden Ring. I don't know. Forspoken's probably got a better shot by leaving this year. 11 months. Thank you, Zinthos, for hitting that milestone. Welcome back. My bad then. Apologies. Oh, Typhoon, were you asking about because there weren't any shows? I wish there was a better way to notify you guys. Like, I suppose I could have just scheduled a stream with a thumbnail. It's like, I'll be back on this date. So anybody that comes to the channel sees it. But that just is kind of stupid. Like, that. Then you just delete the scheduled stream, That's just dumb, though. It would probably not be good for the channel. Maybe not. It might not hurt it. I don't know. Scheduled streams get impressions. It's the weirdest thing. So if you schedule a stream like that, YouTube starts trying to do something with it. And it's like, if you're not planning on streaming, that'd probably be a bad idea. Yes, sir, I missed you. Okay, now I understand your comment. Yeah, I was out of town. I tried to make it super obvious when I covered God of War Ragnarok before I left. Like, I opened the video by being like, I'm going to be gone. You just must not have watched that video. The period between September and January is insane. It's maybe one of the best periods in gaming history. Forspoken needed that push. Yeah, listen, we didn't cover this, but did you read their reasoning, okay? Did you read their reasoning? Stress is the number one killer of people. Got to take on life with the it'll be what it be approach and don't worry about what you can't control and focus on what you can control. Well, I mean, sure. 4 years of therapy and psychological growth and spiritual growth has been a huge alleviance of that, but it's still a stressful environment. It's like it's intrinsic to what we do. So Forspoken did you read it's amazing. We almost covered this today, but no one's searching for it, so I thought no one gives a frick, which is weird, but the interest in volume on Forspoken's not very good. Probably because it's been delayed a handful of times. Who needs therapy? Plenty of people do. I love it. I stand by it. I've been doing it for 4 years. 4 years for me, and my wife's been coming with me for 3 of those 4 years. It's fantastic. Anyways, the way they delayed that game, I don't know if I've ever seen a delay like this before. Ever. Right? I don't think I've ever seen a delay like this. They quite literally said, we have been talking with our strategic partners and have made the decision to bump the game to January of 2023. And said, the game is done and we're polishing it right now. So they were basically saying, we're not delaying this because it needs to be worked on or it's broken or busted or whatever. No. This is a strategic delay. Like, I don't know if I've ever seen a company just come out and kind of say that. They're like, yeah, this is strategic. This has nothing to do with development. Forspoken looks like a tech demo to me. Still worried about the actual gameplay loop. Same. I told you guys it was getting delayed. It was like, no, they're putting polish. I said, my gut, something in my gut tells me this game's getting delayed again. I felt it in the air. It's like, you go like this, you like lick your finger and go like this. I just felt it. I was like, this thing's getting delayed, right? It was gut. It wasn't based on anything. I wasn't like thoughtfully coming to that conclusion like, well, if you analyze the market and the number of games coming out in this window of time, Forspoken stands a better chance if it lands in the first quarter of 2023. No, it was 100% a gut instinct thing. I was like, yeah, this thing's getting delayed. Better than pulling a Titanfall 2. What's good, Wheezy? Good morning, Lono and chat. I guess I can finally not focus 100% on work. You did this to me, Lono. Half of my work week is gone now. Hey, man. Sorry about that. It's not just God of War. I mean, what in your mind, Eugene, what do you think else is pushing them? What's happening? I know it's going to be busy. But what else is coming? I don't trust therapy personally because it's been politicized. I don't trust a therapist to misconstrue stuff I say. Therapy's been politicized? What? Last of Us, God of War, Callisto, or Resident Evil 4, Dead Space, Crisis Core, Modern Warfare 2. Okay. I think 3 of those are locked in, the rest are not. I think Last of Us Remake, God of War, and Modern Warfare 2 are locked in. I think the rest of those... Crisis Core is locked in. Callisto, Resident Evil 4 Remake, and Dead Space Remake, I don't know if those are as locked in as the rest. Modern Warfare 2 is probably going to be the biggest launch as well. Yeah, Modern Warfare 2 is heavy. That's a freaking big heavyweight in the room. Real big. Dead Space is dropping a few days after Forspoken. Oh, Resident Evil 4 is not until March. Oh, he's doing a pretty big window of time. I was thinking fourth quarter of this year. So, okay. So, when's Callisto? I was thinking all those games were slated for fourth quarter this year. I'm like, I don't know about that. That's a poor outlook and a strange stance on therapy. Well, here's the thing. It's right there. Oh, golly. There are people who look at therapy through a lens of either pain or distrust, right? And I think I understand why. People do the same thing with... there's a lot of things that people do that with. And I think therapy is just another one of those things where somebody might be looking through the lens of pain or distrust. And I think it actually takes going and experiencing the right help and the right person to see that they were maybe wrong. Callisto's December. Hogwarts is December. It's a lot of titles that are dangling. Those feel like they're dangling, right? Those are some hanging chads. Most people don't trust that. The barbershops are therapy. I mean, I hear that, Abe. You guys also died of hypertension a whole lot, so I don't know if there's some correlation there or not. Could be. Diet, distrust of therapy. It's definitely been politicized. What hasn't been? Oh, for frick's sake. Okay, I'm not talking about that. Oh my gosh. Also, Hogwarts is coming out. Callisto looks to be a gore fan's playground. Can't wait. I think that's just more of diet. Yeah, but isn't hypertension both... Isn't it both mental and dietary? Can't you relaxing and doing different things, can't that mitigate and help with hypertension? I'm not saying that's the only thing you do. You can't have like a god-awful diet and then meditate your way out of it. Pretty sure hypertension hits you from both sides. Which, black men could be in a category of cultural, dietary trends that are high in salt, and then a distrust of therapy. And so they probably, it's not even distrust of therapy. They're probably like, I'm not going to talk about my feelings. What the frick? And they shove down. That's a Western male thing, but it could be more dominant or more prone to happen in black male culture. I don't know. Yeah, diet's a factor for sure, Abe, for sure. But the mental aspect of it's probably just an absolute domino tip, Callisto, I have a strong feeling will be delayed. The date's kind of weird. Anything landing in December is like, I don't know. Anything landing in December is teetering. In my mind, it's teetering. Because their only reason for launching would be holiday sales, and if the game's not ready, that'll backfire. Especially if it's super, super dense with other games. Been in therapy. I've talked to therapists in the past after deployment. I have no shame. Yep. Yeah, military guys, too, a lot of times won't do it, and they need to. How much hype for Hogwarts? I think Hogwarts is going to be a sleeper RPG hit. I do. I think Hogwarts is going to be a sleeper RPG hit. It will. You've never been to therapy? It's... Lono's talking about my people again? I mean, Abe brought up your people. I didn't bring up your people, Robert. Abe did. Hogwarts going to make bank. Yeah, Hogwarts will be a gigantic title as it stands, but I also think that from what I've seen, it could be like a sleeper RPG where people are going to say, I think the headlines are going to be, this is a surprisingly robust RPG. Like, I think that's the stuff the headlines surrounding that game, surrounding Hogwarts. I think it's going to really center around the fact that it's a surprisingly game full of breadth and depth that people weren't really anticipating. Because it's Harry Potter, and I can be a Jigglypuff or whatever the frick. I know that's a Pokemon. I'm just being silly. What house are you? Jigglypuff. Anyway. All the Harry Potter nerds are like, oh my gosh. But you get what I'm saying. Sleeper, what that means? Oh, so a sleeper hit means... It usually means... We dropped frames? The frick? It usually means like... Nobody saw it coming. Or nobody knew it was going to happen or whatever. Like, if you're bowling and there's a pin behind a pin and you can't see it, they call that a sleeper, right? Oh, you had a sleeper. And a sleeper hit is usually the one that no one sees coming. It kind of comes out of nowhere, right? Usually, that's how it goes. I don't know if we just had a blip where people had to refresh because viewership's being kind of crazy. If you are actually new and you just tuned in, we've been talking God of War Ragnarok release date, why it's kind of strange, and I outlined my reasoning, how they approached this, how it all went down. It felt a little strange to me, not being negative at all. I'm really anticipating the game. I continued to predict its release date would be early November, so I'm thankful that that it's literally landing on my birthday. Wednesday is a weird day, but apparently it's Odin's Day, so they're doing it on purpose. Yep, had to refresh. Okay. Yeah, we had a teeny frame blip. I don't know what that was. Like a vehicle that looks stock and it outruns something. Yeah. I think it's going to be a sleeper, as in not good. Well, then you would say resident sleeper. Right, you would use a more of a like an internet meme colloquialism, like, yeah, it's gonna be resident sleeper. Usually, sleeper is not referred to in a negative way. You're like, oh, it was a sleeper hit. It was a sleep. It's not used in a negative way. If you want to use it in a negative way, I think you've got to be, I think, a little bit more forthright or specific because, Outriders was a sleeper hit. No. I don't agree. I wouldn't call Elden Ring a sleeper hit, although people were shocked how popular it got and suddenly compared to other Souls games. No, Elden Ring, you would not call Elden Ring a sleeper hit. It was the most anticipated game. 2 years in a row, it was voted for as the most anticipated game, right? So, no. Harry Potter game is going to be huge. Only downfall is it has the drama regarding the writer and no multiplayer. Yeah, the no multiplayer is a little strange. It is a little strange. Not even have co-op, Fall Guys sleeper? No. My dog is a sleeper? Yeah. Sleeper hit usually refers to something that no one saw it coming, right? Like a sleeper pin in bowling. Let me just do this. Sleeper hit. In the entertainment industry, a sleeper hit is a film, television series, music release, video game, or some other form of entertainment that was initially unsuccessful on release, but became a success later on. So I'm not even using it properly. So it gets its success later on. So No Man's Sky would be the sleeper. Among Us would be a sleeper. Yeah. I'm using it incorrectly. I thought it was one that no one saw coming, like it was asleep and kind of boom. Everyone's like, oh my gosh. So even I wasn't using it properly. It's something that it's asleep and then later on, it's super, super popular. Breaking Bad sleeper? No. Yeah, Kate Bush's song would be a sleeper hit. Yep. Yeah, nobody paid any attention to it. And then Stranger Things, I think Phoenix. Well, Phoenix Rising wasn't bad when it first came out or unsuccessful when it first came out. I think people were a little bit standoffish. So Fall Guys is a sleeper hit? I don't think so. Fall Guys was really popular when it first came out on both PC and PlayStation. Guys, I am apologizing for YouTube's problems. We just lost over 100 people in the span of just a few minutes. There must be something going on. I think there's been things that they've been doing with mobile. If you've been having issues watching live streams, try to update your mobile app. Because I know they pushed out a couple of updates the last week, and that might be the cause. Because suddenly we just lose tons of people. And I know it's not because we're changing topics. That's never been the case with our live streams. When we lose giant swaths of people in one fell swoop, it's because the website's acting funky. And it seems to be mobile. Kate Bush's song was a Billboard charted when it was originally released. It was a hit in the 80s. Oh, yeah, so then we can't use sleeper, right? We would say it was great, and then it kind of went to sleep, and then it had this huge comeback. Yeah, it's more of a comeback than a sleeper. Right. So, yeah, we can't say Kate Bush's hit song was a sleeper if it was a hit when it first came out. That's a hard one to use appropriately, right? That's a hard one to use appropriately because you've got to basically say it wasn't good and then later became really good. Like No Man's Sky is the clearest example of a sleeper, you know? Or movies that get cult followings later on. Like when they first come out, it's kind of like, and then everybody loves it later. Like probably The Princess Bride, I don't know how well that did in theaters when it came out. And then later, now it's like a cult following and people quote it and love it. Like Cyberpunk? Yeah, probably not. Head Killer with a $5 tip through Super Chat. Morning, Lono. Hope your 4th went great with the misses and the kiddos. Thank you, Head Killer. We bought more fireworks, I think, than I ever have. We bought so many fireworks that we didn't even shoot all of them off. We saved some for when my older brother's in town. And because we bought like a box of bottle rockets, and they were like the whistling ones. And there were so many that we just stopped shooting them off. We're like, we got to use the other stuff. And they were loud, too. So I don't think I've ever seen so many bottle rockets to the point that I was like, we need to not shoot the rest of these off. It was nuts. It was nuts. We got a mortar, and I have to say, I think mortars are a little overrated. I do. I think they're a little overrated. Like when you see someone using a mortar, you think, oh man, that would be really cool. If you buy like 3 maybe, so you could do 3 at once. But, yeah. One of those things, man. It's one of those things. Saw a clip on TikTok the other day. People were driving around their cars, firing off fireworks everywhere, even people driving. Oh, that's terrible. You're not supposed to do that. Read that again. Lono, sleeper is something which wasn't good and it gets good. I would argue that's not the correct way either. I use it like a gem in the rock, a game with no market being a monster. I just looked it up, and that's how the phrase was originally used in Born. So, yeah. Can't use fireworks in my state. Well, there was definitely something about the 4th of July that I thought was incredible. Is that even fireworks is an opportunity to virtue signal, you know? Even fireworks. Anywhere from the little 6 shooters to the big 100 shooters, cakes are the best fireworks. We got one, and we wrote down the name of it because it was literally better than anything we used the whole night. It was just a little box. I'm telling you, it was just a little box, and it just shot what were like mini mortars. It was amazing. It was like, this thing's better than everything else. We got some big giant tube for the finale, and it was so dadgum disappointing. It was barely better than like if you tied 18 different Roman candles together. It was so lame. They're the best. Yeah, it was the best one. It was the best one. And we had little ones that shot out other cool things that we really, really liked. Yeah, those were the best things we got for the night. The stupid big giant things are super lame. That's okay. We got Thanksgiving coming up. Let's see Twitter implode from everyone. Oh, yeah. Every holiday has been chronologically snobbed into badness. Every holiday. They're all bad. They're all bad. 4th of July, Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter. They're all terrible, you know? Chronological snobbery is in full swing. People still do it here. It's illegal. Yeah. They make you sign stuff when you buy them. 196 round Roman candle. That's basically what it was. It shot 216 times, and it was like a bunch of weak Roman candles. It was really disappointing. Because it was this big, huge thing. We thought it was going to be awesome. We didn't do any loud ones. There was a dog outside, and it was the cutest thing. It was a German Shepherd, and this dog loved the fireworks. It would watch them go up, and it would get really excited, and then it would look at me and wait for me to do another one. I've never seen anything like it. Now, if we would have had noisy ones, I would have told them to put their dog away, been like, hey, it hurts their ears. But we didn't have any noisy ones. All of ours were just the big bright ones. The whistlers didn't seem to bother her. Those were the only ones that you could say were loud, because you're like, and the whistlers didn't seem to bother her. If I would have had any noisy ones, I'd be like, you're going to want to put her away, because the loud bangs and pops, we didn't buy those because those are so dumb. Like, you light them and they go pow, 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 and it's like, who cares? You know what I mean? I know that's a cultural thing. Like, there's cultures that really love the loud fireworks that just make a ton of noise. I always think those things are awful. It's like, who cares about that? I want something to go way up in the air and be bright and colorful, not loud. So, thankfully, we didn't have anything loud, because I would have been like, you're not supposed to have dogs outside when you're putting off the loud ones. All of ours were basically not making any noise. And she absolutely loved it. I've never seen it before in my life. They're like, oh, it's her first 4th of July. She freaking loved it. Just running back and forth. 2 years ago, in 2019, I had to go to, last year, 2021, I had to go tell a family to put their dog away. Their dog was like whining and barking and losing its mind because they were shooting off these super loud ones. And I went over and I was like, they put out PSAs every year. Dogs are not supposed to be around loud fireworks. You know, it stresses them out. It hurts their ears. And they received it well. It was super awkward. I was like, I hate to be that guy. I was like, but I know somebody that works with dogs. I said, there's PSAs every year. And we didn't have any of the noisemakers. So, the dog literally didn't care. She was having a panic attack? No. Her tongue was out. Her tail was wagging. She thought it was great. She was excited. All of her body language was excitement and interest. She wasn't stressed. She wasn't barking. Nah, man. She was loving it. It was just big bright lights to her. She was also, before we did the fireworks, trying to catch fireflies. David Jaffe's been yelling November for months. He kind of confirmed it for me in a live chat. I was the first viewer. You were the first viewer of what, though? We went to a show at the marina and people brought their dogs. You go to the shows, man. Dogs should not be there. That stuff is so dadgum loud at the shows. Like, doom, oh my word. You can feel it in your body. They're so loud. Yeah, David Jaffe also said it's getting delayed. Yeah, he also called it DLC. Yeah, and then said that all sequels are DLC, because, yeah. Do you remember when we tied fireworks together into a screaming bottle rocket and hit the neighbor's house by accident? Yeah. I tried that once this time, and it didn't go well. It went up and then in the yard across from us, and the grass was really dry. So we went over, stamped it out, made sure nothing happened, and I was like, okay, we're not doing that again. Because I set it up to where everything went up and landed in the street, and then we cleaned it all up. He's a nut. Who was saying it was delayed? Jaffe said yesterday he's going to wear a MAGA hat when he plays. Why? He said Metroid was bad game design. I don't listen to anything he says. Our dog barks at fireworks. He thinks the house is being assaulted. He's better outside, but he so growls at them if he sees them explode. Huh. It's dangerous with the brush out here. Yeah, we were super cautious of the dry grass. Like, we were constantly looking. We were dousing everything in water when we were done. And we had a great time, but we were good, fireworks people. We didn't get the loud ones, and we cleaned everything up, and we made sure to go make sure nothing caught on fire, because there was no rain. The grass was super duper dry. So, oh, you like the clip of the streamer lighting the Pikachu firework off in his room? Yeah, it's a shame that guy's he's not a very nice guy, right? He's not a super nice guy, but he has some funny clips. It was pretty funny. That's that Speed guy that got banned from Valorant, and I think he's been banned from almost every streaming platform. I don't know if he still streams on YouTube. People wanted him banned here too. Oh, he made a bet with his audience that if it came out this year, he would wear the MAGA hat. Oh. He's salty he left Santa Monica and wasn't part of one of the biggest titles in history. My city fireworks show started some grass fires and had to stop early. Yeah, because the wind will carry it, and it'll you got to be super careful. Yep. Pikachu firework is really cool. Otherwise, it's a hilarious clip. House almost caught fire last year. Had a random mortar that didn't go off, and it blowed 2 hours later. Set my porch on fire. Oh golly. Yeah, that's why we doused everything. I doused the mortar. I doused everything with water, and then we put it all in a trash can afterwards. Oh, he does stream on YouTube? I thought the Valorant thing would have got him bopped, People can say what they want about Javi, but he's still great friends with Santa Monica, always speaks great on them, and God of War just gives his opinion. He's an OG. Yeah, I mean, they can say what they want about him. I mean, sure, but I'm not talking about him as a person. I'm talking about his takes. His takes and his commentary are brain dead. Like, he says really dumb stuff. He hit 9 million on YouTube. Jiminy frickin' Christmas. I don't agree with everything Javi says, but I think he's a funny guy. He made the game. I mean, okay, so? All right. Was that, without him, no Kratos? I don't care. Like, what? Sean Murray is the brainchild behind No Man's Sky, and I have tons of respect for Sean Murray. But if Sean Murray left Hello Games and started saying stupid brain-dead things on Twitter, I wouldn't be like, well, but we wouldn't have No Man's Sky without him, so he gets a free pass to Stupidville. No. I don't give a frick about that. You know what I mean? Steven Spielberg's directed some of the greatest films in history, and if he started saying dumb stuff about movies that he no longer was a part of, just because he's some butthurt child, I would be like, yeah, but it's Steven Spielberg. No, I'd be like, that's dumb. What he's saying is dumb. He was a director? Yeah, that's what I mean. Notch made Minecraft, but he's a terrible person that doesn't give him a free pass. Yeah, I don't even know anything about him. He wasn't the ultimate brainchild. George Lucas made Star Wars, need I say more? Every smart person will eventually say something stupid. That's a fact. I think as an ex-mainstream game developer, he gives a lot of truth from experience. We see a lot of what he said within these companies. Okay, that's totally fine. So God of War, Lorefather, let me make something explicitly clear to you. These guys that get out of the industry and let us know about bad things or hard things or whatever, like the guy that worked on Days Gone, he got pretty lippy and pretty mouthy, and we've quoted him a few times. That's totally fine. But when you call God of War Ragnarok DLC and you tell everybody it's going to be delayed, he's just saying dumb stuff, man. Like, and then he defended calling Ragnarok DLC by saying that like all sequels are DLC. Come on, bro. That almost invalidates what he's saying. It's like, I'm supposed to take you seriously? You're not even in tune with the gaming community at all. No one in the history of gaming has ever called a sequel DLC. His take on Metroid's just embarrassing. Yeah, like, I'm sorry. If you're in the industry that long and you're that close to gaming development and you say things like that, I'm not going to take most of what you say serious. I'm not. He called the DLC because it looks so much like the first game. Look at Witcher 3. They came out with DLC just as large as Ragnarok, if not larger. So you know how big Ragnarok is, and you think the DLC in Witcher 3 is as big as Ragnarok. You think that. Where are you getting your information? The DLC for Witcher 3 is great, substantive, and awesome. But dollars to donuts, it's not bigger or just as large as Ragnarok, a full game. Like, there's literally no way that is true. Because The Witcher 3's install size would have had to, doubled when they added the DLC. What you're saying is so easily falsifiable. It's just dumb to even say it. Breath of the Wild 2 is DLC. Oh, we're going to hear that. We're going to hear that. Ragnarok isn't even out yet, and we're calling it DLC. That's what I'm saying. DLC for Witcher 3, the first one was tiny. The second one was like a new game. But to say it's as big as Ragnarok? Come on. What's the install size on the big Witcher 3 DLC? You really want to put this to the test? You want to put this to the litmus test of is it factual or not? Have you played Ragnarok? Do you have an advanced copy? Stop saying baseless stuff. Right, like, oh, it's just the DLC in Witcher 3 was as big as Ragnarok. Huh? What? According to who? You want to go based on install size? Not map size? Install size will be an indicator, Butters. Yes. 100%. It'll be an indicator. All right, hang on a second. God of War Ragnarok will take the semi-open world concept and blow it to a giant-like proportions. According to PlayStation blog posts, the sequel will let players visit the entirety of the 9 realms. That's 3 more than the last game, if you're keeping track. Using new and old traversal systems, players can go to the previously unreachable locations of Vanaheim, Svartalfheim, and Asgard, and the 6 realms you were able to explore in 2018 God of War will have new areas, so expect the sequel to be much, much bigger. Sit down and shut the frick up. Sit down and shut up with all this DLC nonsense. Just shut your mouth. Shut it. Now would be a good time to insert ads. Now would be a good time to gift members. That's what I'm going to say every time YouTube tries to get me to run ads. What was the install size of Elden Ring? That game was ginormous. Yeah, Elden Ring is huge. Dreamcast guy said Ragnarok's massive. Breath of the Wild 2, 6 years in development, is DLC. You guys are wild. Black 4-5. Let me explain something to you. There are people in my chat that are being intentionally stupid. Do you see what I'm saying? What they're doing is they're saying it's so ludicrous to claim that Ragnarok is DLC. It would be just as ludicrous to claim Breath of the Wild 2, Spider-Man 2 are also DLC. They're being ironic. Do you understand? They're not being real. They're being goofy. They're putting the absurdity of the claim on full display. If Ragnarok's bigger than God of War 2018, then it's definitely bigger than Blood and Wine, no question. That's what I'm saying. Shut up. Like, just I don't have patience for it anymore. You're just going to be told to be quiet when you say dumb stuff like that. You're just going to be told to be quiet. 7 months from Tame Cyber, and it's a tier 2. That's a nice milestone. Welcome back. Luigi's Mansion GameCube Edition is better than all games in the future. It's that amazing. I know, hard to believe. Tame, I don't know what time traveling machine you just popped out of, but I appreciate the 7-month milestone in the tier 2 membership. Go back to bed. I'm telling you, the marketing behind the game is bigger than media and smaller than us. I don't understand what I just read. I thought DLC adds content to the existing base game. A sequel presents an entirely new story and gameplay mechanics. Sure, some assets might be reused, but platform jumps aren't DLC. You guys see the stupid NFT console? Yeah, did you see Josh Strife Hayes call out Kevin Hart? Help him ratio Kevin Hart. I love Kevin Hart, but what are you doing, Kevin? Doing an NFT thing. And Josh Strife Hayes was like, this guy's got millions of followers. This tweet got 500, didn't even have 500 likes. Give Josh Strife Hayes a ratio on that guy. Help him ratio Kevin Hart. Freaking dumb. Absolutely dumb. If you're a celebrity right now, and your manager, your social presence manager, is convincing you or using your brand and your name to push NFTs, you should fire them and hire me instead, because they don't know what the frick they're doing. All they're going to do is tarnish your reputation. Kevin Hart could literally not work a day for the rest of his life, and his grandchildren's children would still have tons of money. What are you doing with NFTs, bro. What the frick are you doing? Whoever convinced you to do it, you should fire them. Because these guys, I guarantee you, they don't know. They don't frickin' know what's going on. You know what I mean? They got people handling their stuff. Kevin's not managing his social media or any of that nonsense. So whoever convinced him to do that, fire them immediately. Because they're making you look dumb. My point with Ragnarok is if you look at God of War on PS3, it was a real next-gen leap for PS4. Ragnarok just literally looks like the PS4 game. Sure. You know, my favorite thing about this is you saying that Ragnarok looks like a PS4 game. My favorite thing about this is what you're saying isn't just false. It doesn't matter because you're probably not going to play it. You probably aren't going to play it. Like Horizon Forbidden West, people said the same, just absolute two-brain-celled, brain-dead take about Horizon Forbidden West. And then the game came out, and everyone shut the frick up. It was like, oh, look at all that cinematic lighting. Look at all, wow, look at the water. Look at the graphics. Look at the color saturation. Now, they had graphical pop-in, but that's not a fidelity problem. That's a performance problem. Okay? Ragnarok is a PS4. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Your mom's a PS4 game, okay? Listen, they can make games with existing assets and engines and tools. They can do all that so that it runs on PS4 and make it look immaculate on the PS5. You understand that, right? You understand the elasticity of these systems? Do you? You should educate yourself on the elasticity of engines and graphical settings because you seem to not know about that. You're presuming and assuming that because it's going to run on the PS4 and they use existing assets that it's going to look like a PS4 game, which is stupid to think. You shouldn't think stupid things. You should think smart things. Okay? Look at PC games as a great example. I could show you Assassin's Creed Origins, and I could make it look amazing, and I could make it look like booty cheeks. I could make it look like a PS3 game if I wanted. Why? I'd turn all the settings down. If I turn the resolution down, the textures, the lighting, the shadows, gut it all. That's called graphical fidelity spectrum. There's a spectrum of graphical fidelity. Turn all that down. I could make one game look nuts and look like garbage. Okay? So, God of War Ragnarok will look like a PlayStation 4 game on PlayStation 4. And when you play it on your PlayStation 5, it will not look like that. It won't. 4K checkerboard resolution, 60 frames per second, better lighting, better shadows, better textures, better performance, all of that. If you honestly think you're going to see this game running on a PS5, and you're going to be able to say with any intellectual credibility at all that it looks like a PS4 game, then at that point, no one should be concerned with what you're saying because you're just dishonest. Anybody that watches raw gameplay of Horizon Forbidden West on a PS5, if they were to say, looks like a PS4 game, looks just like it did, looks just like the first game, I would never listen to another word that you have to say about video games because you've just proven yourself to be a dishonest, person. Like, you're not trustworthy at that point. Mad Max looks exactly like what you just described from the PS4 version. So is that a next-gen game now? No. Mad Max is actually a very, very impressive game graphically. I think it has some of the best fire in any game. I do. Upping the resolution in FPS doesn't make it next-gen. Oh. So you're the definer of next-gen now. I didn't realize that. That's weird. It's weird, especially from you, Doomslayer, because I know you love your Xbox. Isn't one of the primary things that Xbox fans like to say about the Xbox Series X is that they give you these next-gen updates for free, like FPS boost. Isn't that a consistent bragging point for the Series X as a next-gen console? I guess conceding that that's not next-gen means you have virtually no next-gen titles on your Series X. You painted yourself into that corner, not me, okay? You don't even have an Xbox, you're a PlayStation user? Wait, aren't you the guy that bet me Ragnarok was getting delayed? You're always in here on the Xbox drum. You bet me $50 it was getting delayed. Well, in any case, if that's not next gen, all right, if that's not next gen, then you've just essentially said almost no games coming out will be next gen. Different Doom? Oh gosh, it's a different Doom. Jiminy frickin' Christmas. Who's that Doom? Doom Slayer? I'm the Xbox Doom, Doom Reaper. Oh, come on. Doom Reaper, Doom Slayer, Doom Sleeper, Doom Vacuum Cleaner. Frick. Anyways, listen. When you play a game on your PS5 and it's got all those extra nice looking features, that's next gen. If you're going to keep moving the goalposts, I'm going to tell you something right now. You will be sorely disappointed for the next 8 years because you will conclude that there are almost no true next-gen games coming out. Because a lot of what you're going to get when you buy these next-gen games, that's what you're going to get. What's good, Zubair? You're going to get 60 FPS, 4K checkerboard performance mode, or whatever the frick they try to do. And you're going to compare it to like, well, a PS4, blah, blah, blah. Well, yeah. One of the main reasons that you buy a next-gen console is for load times, frames per second. Like, I want you to do me a favor. You go back and you look at all the marketing for the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. One of the primary things they talked about is resolution, frame rate, and load time. So, if you're going to claim those things aren't next-gen, you're just establishing your own definition of what next-gen is, which I don't care what your definition is. I'm going based off of marketing and what the industry talks about. And no one is ever going to accept that. That, well, they upped it to this resolution and this frames per second and the load time's instantaneous, but it's not really next-gen. Okay, those are literally the selling points of the dadgum consoles. How you can call a cross-gen game next-gen just because you bump the resolution and the frames. Just so you know, FPS Boost is a feature used to automatically boost old games from last-gen games. Smart Delivery is when games upgrade to next-gen features. They are not the same. Right, and oftentimes, people were bragging on the Series X having FPS Boost as a next-gen feature. It's a next-gen console, and that was one of the next-gen features that people talked about. Like, that's literally the generation you're about to go into. The generation of gaming you're about to go into is better resolution, better frames per second, and better load times. So when you say, oh, but just upping those things doesn't make it next gen, what the frick are you talking about? That's literally why people bought these systems. So by that logic, did that make the PS4 Pro a next-gen console? I don't know. Next-gen's a colloquialism that we usually use when a brand new generation comes out, not incremental upgrades. So I don't think so. You need to find next-gen if you're going to say frames and resolution isn't next-gen. It took 2 hours. Better frames is definitely next-gen. You can't do that on the old consoles. I gotta ask my friend something. I'll ask. Where is he? Are you dropping off the kids tonight? So Ghost of Tsushima on 4K 60 FPS on PS5 is a next-gen game now? No, see, now what you're doing is you're misrepresenting what they did to Horizon Forbidden West and what they did to God of War Ragnarok. You're creating a false equivalency, okay? Ghost of Tsushima was developed PS4 dev kit for the PS4, okay? They go in, they bake all these next-gen features into it, and they upgrade it, okay? So when I play that game now, Collector's Edition, it has next-gen features, yes. It has 3D audio, it has instantaneous load times, it has amazing frames per second and resolution, but they didn't go back and do all this lighting and stuff. So you could say at a technical level, yeah, it's next-gen. But that's not equivalent to what they did with Forbidden West and Ragnarok. Forbidden West, they quite literally went in and did things that you can't do on the PS4. They gave you cinematic lighting throughout the entire game. That's a next-gen feature. The frames per second, the resolution, the load times, those are all next-gen features. So if you're going to look at a PlayStation 5 and an Xbox Series X, and you're going to say, hey, they marketed these to have higher resolution, better frames, and instantaneous load times, those aren't next-gen features, though. If a game does those things, it's not truly next-gen. Well, then what is? What's it got to do? Make you a sandwich? And have what, I don't know, textures that look like God himself made them? What exactly are you looking for? Because that's literally what they sold these consoles on, and now you're saying, well, but that's not next gen. Well, then what in the world is? All those features like cinematic lighting, ETC, better foliage, ETC are next gen features. Better res and FPS are not. Well, you're wrong. You're demonstrably wrong. What you're saying is falsifiable, Doom, because they marketed these consoles with those features. Better resolution and FPS and load time. Those are next-gen features. So it's not an opinion. You're factually incorrect. You're wrong. You're not saying something that's factually accurate. No one said, buy an Xbox Series X and a PS5. Why? Cinematic lighting and foliage, Those are like bells and whistles. The foundational offer is better resolution, better frames per second, better load time. Those are the three big things they kept listing. And when they when they promote these games, what do they talk about? That's what they talk about. They didn't just talk about the cinematic lighting in Horizon Forbidden West. Look at the demo. Sony even showed off last year with the Unreal Engine 5 demo. Look at the Matrix. Do you not see a difference? What? Do you really want to start comparing the Unreal Engine 5 demo to games like Forbidden West and God of War Ragnarok? Oh, I would love to do that. You want to compare those? Because the Unreal Engine 5 demo is incredibly unpolished and unoptimized and has all kinds of performance issues. So sure, let's do it. Let's compare them. Let's compare that tech demo to Forbidden West and God of War Ragnarok. I would put those games in the ring against the Unreal Engine 5 demo every day of the dadgum week. And they'd be like Muhammad Ali dancing around a sleepy old man. It wouldn't even compete. It's amazing. And it showcases the tech brilliantly. But do you honestly think that demo can go toe-to-toe with Forbidden West and Ragnarok? You think that? The only real next-gen game out right now is Microsoft Flight Simulator. There it is. No pun intended. The plane has landed. There it is. So, Returnal doesn't count. Yeah, Returnal doesn't count. Forza doesn't count. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart doesn't count. Yeah. No, yeah. None of those. The plane has finally landed. There it is. Okay. To let Ellie know. Sorry, handling something with my wife. Any potential of the Unreal Engine 5 can? Yes, definitely. You're really downplaying what these systems can do? No, I'm not. Nope. No, I'm not. I'm not downplaying what these systems can do. I said this 18 months ago as these systems were hitting the market. I feel like this is a lot of people's first generational change they either experience or they've been tuned in with, and it shows. Is Suicide Squad not going to be a next-gen game because it runs on UE4 instead of UE5, despite the game being exclusive to next-gen systems? If listen, we have to move on to the next show. But if you're going to sit here and tell me that increased resolution and increased frame rate is not next-gen, then you have established your own definition of next-gen, so your opinion means nothing to me. Because you could be like, it's not next-gen unless the ray tracing licks my eyeballs. And I'm like, I don't frickin' care then what you think. You've established your own measurement and goalposts that the industry itself doesn't use. Like, Microsoft and Sony don't even agree with you. They didn't market these consoles on that. They marketed the consoles on frame rate, resolution, and load time. So when you're going to take those things off the table and say those aren't next gen, then you've made up your own definition. So what you're saying is completely irrelevant. No problem, agree to disagree, but you'll see, mark my words. No, I won't. If there's one thing, okay, if there's one thing that I have gotten pretty good at, if we're playing darts, I'm usually right around the bullseye. Horizon Forbidden West and God of War Ragnarok are extremely close to the ceiling of what these consoles can do. You will not see a marked difference. There will be differences. Spider-Man 2 and Wolverine, there will be bullet point, listable, measurable differences between those games because they're being exclusively made for PS5. But it will be it'll be small. Close is a vague word. We're close to the ceiling. I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you we are. These systems and the hardware in them, how quickly they're already dated in the realm of PC gaming. Look at the performance of PC games. Look at the max level you can get out of a high-end PC right now. Look at it. It's not that far and away above the graphical fidelity that you're seeing in the next-gen games we're getting right now. Forza and Horizon Forbidden West and God of War Ragnarok and Returnal. I'm telling you, we are extremely close to the ceiling. You are not going to see a tectonic shift in the next 4 to 5 years because, like, oh, Lono's downplaying what these consoles can do. No, I'm more dialed into what these consoles can do, I think, than the optimists in the room. I think you're far too optimistic about how strong these consoles are. All you have to do is look at hardware that's stronger and look at what it can do with games. Look at the highest end PC right now. Look at what it can do. It's better, but the difference between your best next gen titles right now and your absolute peak performance PC game right now, there's not this giant chasm between them. You're not like, oh, that's clearly a game that's holding back the reins. We'll see evolutions in haptics, load times, VR even. Graphical fidelity is hitting the ceiling. I'm telling you, it is. It 100% is. The lighting that you see, the water, the textures, the frame rate, you can only go so high. You can only get so photorealistic. You can only get so pristine before it's like the difference between the games is going to be there, but it won't be this giant tectonic chasm of like, oh my gosh, these systems were so much stronger than we thought. No. That's true. Even PC games aren't far off from the highest end console games. I'm telling you. The HCM VR demo they showed looks insanely good. That's from a console. True next gen is crazy. Like I said, there will be differences. You'll be able to list them, but I don't think it's going to be as big as people are thinking. I think it'll be less noticeable. And trust me when I say this, it's extremely easy for me to be proven right on this because of how cynical and negative gamers can be. They're going to look at trailers of Spider-Man 2 and Wolverine, and you can already hear them from the future. You can already hear them typing it up. Doesn't look that much better. Looks like DLC. I thought this was a next-gen game. Watch. Watch it happen. A maxed out 4K PC is still pretty significant over a Series X, but the chasm is shrinking. Yeah. Dev kits are not equal to consoles. Be wary of what you see in a demo. Efficiency is what's been improved, and the bells and whistles and the faster strips. Right, like, I don't think you're going to be like, oh my gosh, the lighting and the graphics in this are absolutely insane. No, it'll be like, yeah, this is on par with Forbidden West and Ragnarok, graphical fidelity-wise. I'm telling you. Most correct, it will be design, AI, physics, and sound will be the real game changers. Right, you guys have got to hear what I'm saying. I'm not downplaying the consoles. I'm telling you, we got on this tear because of graphical fidelity, and people said FPS resolution and load time are not next-gen features. And I'm like, what the frick are you talking about? And that's what got me on this tear, is graphical fidelity isn't going to move this giant... There's not this giant tectonic shift on the way. No. All the other stuff you guys are talking about, yes. Haptics, load time, bells and whistles, sure. Graphical fidelity, no. Absolutely not. We are at this. We are very, very close to the ceiling of just how great the graphics can look in these games on these systems. I think we're already right. We're right frickin' there. We're right near the ceiling. And that's why I'm saying this. Because if not, here's what's going to happen. Trailers and games are going to start releasing next gen only, and that's all we're going to hear. I thought this was going to look so much better. You were never told that. You never were. And I was sitting here shouting about it, that you're creating that expectation. Not me. Not me. You're creating that. Reminder, the next gen of GPUs come out in less than 6 months. People believe there isn't a limit. Zubair, I honestly think there is technological optimism. Yes, I do. I believe there's an almost ideological technological optimism that exists, that people think that there's an infinitude of possibilities and they just keep on going. They told me that was showing me Unreal Engine 5. Showing you Unreal Engine 5 is not a promise. That's something that a company put out there to show what an engine could do. That's not a promise that there's going to be games that are able to do that. You can't have that level of fidelity in a giant open world city with living, breathing, ecosystems of people. It doesn't work. Like, that's why that game struggles in some places, because it's not designed that you can't. That engine demo is not a promise to you. It isn't. I think Flight Simulator is more next gen than Ragnarok because you can fly anywhere in the world. Right, but you got your own. You have your own. That is a self-created bar. That's a self-created bar. That's not a next gen thing. Oh, you can go anywhere in the world. First and foremost, no. Those areas are set. You can't just fly anywhere. You go to the area and then you fly around. And have you flown down and looked at the graphical fidelity of like the buildings and the houses? You got to be joking if you think that looks next gen. The planes look next gen. Environmental, skybox, clouds, weather effects all look next gen. But bro, fly down and actually look at the buildings. Come on. No. The graphical fidelity and detail on the buildings is limited by how they're sourcing it. They're sourcing it from, satellite imagery. Meaning of next generation in English. Next generation, used to describe a product that has been developed using the latest technology and will probably replace the existing product. Such next generation drugs should demonstrate considerable advantages over competitors. About better hardware and software to yield better results. End of story. Current console is already a gen behind PC, and the main difference is fidelity and frame rate. Yeah, I just see two different things. You're just talking about games looking prettier. No, I'm not. Nope. Now you're putting words in my mouth. Back the train up. That's not a charitable way to argue. I said that frames per second, resolution, and load times were next-gen features. I actually was saying less about games looking prettier. I was told that those aren't next-gen features and that games should look prettier. I said, no, these are next-gen features that have to do with performance. You got to track with my argument. I know I go fast, but I never once made it about games looking prettier. To quite the contrary, I was saying that higher resolution, frame rate, and load times were next-gen features that I was promised, and those are more about performance than graphical fidelity. And then I said that Forbidden West and Ragnarok are close to the fidelity ceiling of these systems. I've not been sitting here saying, oh, they gotta look pretty, they gotta look pretty. You're the one who said Flight Sim's the only truly next-gen game. Why? Because your measure is you can fly anywhere in the world? Wasn't that your whole argument for Ragnarok? No, I never once said anything about it looking prettier. I said it will look prettier because they can do more. They can do more with the lighting. They can do more with the textures. And then the performance, resolution, and frame rate. 4K checkerboard, 60 frames per second. God of War 2018 looks beautiful. It looks amazing. If anything, you know what's funny? This is something that's getting lost in the shuffle. If anything, games like Days Gone, Horizon Zero Dawn, and God of War were ahead of their time, and the PS4 was holding them back. Why do you think all those developers were begging Sony to let them put their games on PC? Because they were next-gen games hamstrung by a system that couldn't do what it needed to do. If you really want to start talking about how great these games are, like, that's one of the reasons that, like, Ragnarok and Forbidden West, they look better than their predecessors, but they also look similar. Do you want to know why? Because those games were ahead of their time. They were basically PC games that had to run on a weak system. Those devs were begging their games to go to PC. Why? Because they were ahead of their time. They were ahead of their time. They're beautiful games. Go play God of War on a PC. It looks phenomenal. You're looking at the wrong thing. I don't know if most people can see the difference between 120 and 240. Probably not. PS5 and Series X launch actually at least close to relevant PC specs. This is true. This is true. Listen. Good debate. Good debate. You didn't name call and you didn't get disrespectful. I love a good debate. People in chat or Discord acting like listen, I engage with people that disagree with me because it makes for better television. Like, I'm not going to sit here and only engage with you guys that are agreeing with me. That's not good television. I find it weird that some console crowd are not convinced that this is next gen. Used to play on a PS4, moved to PC because PS4 performance looks were getting old, and I still feel that PS5 brings major upgrades. Love debating, true, bro. Most people get too bent on their feelings. No, yeah, you kept it in a respectable lane. I mean, I definitely feel like you're baiting a little bit, but if you bait and the chat gets riled up and you get me on a tear, you just took me on a 30-minute detour. I'm fine with that as long as you stay respectful. PS4 and the Xbone were not ahead of average when they released. No. Eugene's talking about the PS5 and the Series X, I think. Yeah, he's talking X and 5. Yeah. 30 to 60 FPS is a huge noticeable thing, but 90 to 120 isn't quite perceptible. Diminishing returns. Yeah. And I think you can go so high on frame rate that games start to look bad anyway. Not trying to be mean, but I've been seeing some posts from some developers saying Sony has a problem with their CPUs. There's a large bottleneck. I've not seen any posts on that. I've seen posts on the Series S having memory limitations, and that's going to pose a problem long-term for Microsoft for first-party next-gen titles because the Series S is saturating the market way faster than the X. I've got to say, apart from load times, I see no difference between the One X and the Series X. You're not playing the right games. But Lono, you called my mom a PS4. She's more of a PC, sir. I'm her first DLC. That was good, wasn't it? I like that you took that in stride, Texas. I like that you took that in stride. I've not seen anything about a CPU bottleneck on the PS5. I've not. I've not seen anything about that. I'm relatively dialed into gaming news. Like that's literally all I do. I end every day and I check every gaming news outlet for stories to cover, and I haven't seen any of that. Yet the Series S runs more games at 120 than the PS5. Yeah, it's super impressive that it can go back and boost the frame rate on 10-year-old games. I'm super impressed. Let's see what big next-gen titles come out and how well they run. Like, that's the true test, homie. Like, you're really banging on the tribal drum if you think that that's a comparison that communicates anything of substance. That the Series the Series S can run like ancient games at 120. Who the frick cares about that? I could boot up a bunch of old games on my PS5 now with the PlayStation Plus premium subscription and be like, oh my gosh, look at the performance. No, I own a Series X and a PS5. And there's been at least 2 reports from developers about the Series S having a bottleneck of memory. I'm not saying I've had performance issues. I said going forward, the Series S is going to pose a potential problem. Series S will pose a potential problem. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's a junk piece of hardware. I'm not saying that it runs bad or poorly. I'm saying, according to the reports I'm seeing, I have concerns about the Series S having a memory bottleneck. And because it's going to have a memory bottleneck, you're going to be developing first-party, next-gen titles for it. And I'm going to let you in on a little secret, or at least a theory. I think Starfield's delay has more to do with optimization for the Series S than anything else. Dead serious. Wouldn't shock me at all if a year from now I'm reading some insider whistleblower Jason Schreier article who's like, the reason Starfield got delayed is they couldn't get it to run well on the Series S, and the saturation of the S was becoming a problem. It's an open secret that Starfield's causing problems on the Series S. I've not seen that. That was just my theory when it got delayed, on the heels of us hearing from some people and developers that there's a memory bottleneck. So 3 folks say something, there's a problem. It's a prediction, Mo. It's a prediction. And I'm not bad at those. So I would be not at all shocked. I would not at all be shocked if I read that article this time next year. That was the main cause of developmental struggles for Starfield, is a Series S just wouldn't let us do the things we wanted to do. My gosh, we saw pop-in and frame rate performance issues in their dadgum trailer. And you think that thing's going to run fine on a weaker system? Come on now. How do you think Ragnarok runs on PS4? As good as 2018 runs. Which is passable. It's fine. Same engine, same assets. Yeah, the original PS4, yeah, it'll run as well as the God of War 2018 did. Yep. Memory shouldn't be an issue. Only next-gen games. It's not really a weaker system. I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole of people, of just, I don't know, console, war denialism. Like, if you're going to say that the Series S is not really a weaker system, there's not a discussion worth having, because you're not looking at the facts. These are basic, measurable benchmark facts that are objectively true. And this is not some subjective opinion. This is not some rumor mill. This isn't me being a hater. So, these are basic facts. And I'm making a prediction based off of everything I've known from covering video game development and development cycles and challenges and delays. And the pattern is there. The pattern's there. The main reason Starfield's getting delayed is because of the Series S. Yeah, less teraflops, less RAM. It's a weaker system. Yeah. It's literally marketed to be a weaker system than the Series X. Yeah. It's going to hamstring the generation. Yep. Good to have you back. Yo, what's good, Ben? Hope you had some quality time off. I did. Do me a favor, and don't go anywhere. We're going to react to Upper Echelon's video about Cyberpunk. Okay? He has responded to the stuff that Eugene put in the Discord last night. There's 2 videos. Actually, 3. I don't know if we're going to get through all 3. But big things coming out about Cyberpunk and the quality assurance company that they worked with. And, he's responded to some of the pushback that he got. And he has now been contacted by tons of people in the industry. So, I like Upper. I like his content. He did right by me a long time ago. And we're going to be reacting, okay, to his content. How do you become a member? Type !join or hit the join button, or people can gift members. We're having a bit of a bounce back on membership count because we had a bit of a dip. We'll get more into that this afternoon during the members only stream. So, don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. I am going to hit some ads. We almost never run ads. I only run ads when I step away. If you want to support the channel directly, you can support the channel directly with a membership, order coffee, t-shirt, all that stuff. Right now, we're really focusing on membership. We really want to get as many members as possible and continue doing extra content for you every day of the week, Friday nights, and in our Discord. So consider becoming a member to support the channel. It's $5 a month, and you get a ton of value in content. All right? I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. It should be a great next segment. Okay, I'm back. The coffee is quality because of balanced acidity, very smooth. Yeah, we should be able. I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting for a green light from Creature. We may have to make some announcements tomorrow. I'm not sure, but we are getting ready to switch gears here. Hurry, Lono, I need my coffee fix. Sorry. Hope you had a nice vacation. Good to see you back. A few minutes. Do your first react, and we're good? Okay. All right, let's do... Let's get the tweet. Let me get the channel customized. Because this will be a new stream. Okay. Okay. Tweet sent. Send now. We can't cover Skull and Bones today, Sven, because I have an appointment with a dermatologist. If I want to get my prescription for this cream that I need renewed, I have to see a dermatologist because the person that I saw only filled it for so long, and so I have to do that. So that'll be probably our lead tomorrow, doing a breakdown of that. So, okay, let's go in here. All right, so I'm going to do a redirect. I'm going to put a link in chat. If the redirect doesn't work, you can always use that link. We're going to be reacting to Upper Echelon's videos about what happened with Cyberpunk's failure. Cyberpunk 2077 made headlines again about its failure, and this was because of Upper Echelon Gaming doing a video, and then now basically a series of videos about this, and the Cyberpunk 2077 fail, or its failure, and why exactly did it happen. We're going to be reacting to that content. We do like to do reaction content on this channel. I try to make it more dialogue and discussion oriented. I'll be pausing the video, adding my own thoughts. We are going to try to watch all of what he has said because he had to do some clarification after the fact because of some bad reporting by the gaming industry, and then some clarifications that came from some other people. So I'm going to redirect people over now